right, hello. Welcome to a live edition of the O&G StrikeZone, right here on the Black College Sports Network. What's the matter? Oh man, what you got that for? What you got that for, Kelvin?
Hey, you remember that scene from the old classic in the 90s, where right before Nino Brown finna take out G Money, and G Money's like, "Am I my brother's keepers? Am I my brother's keepers?"
That's
yes, I am. We gonna make some stuff right.
Wow. Welcome to
the Willie, gone. AD, Larry Robinson.
Yeah.
Gonna make some things right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I found mine. You know, I had to bring it out on Sunday. I was hoping to go the year without, but then already, 10 days in. We didn't get through the first quarter.
We ain't even celebrated yet. We got to celebrate supposedly Friday.
How's that gonna go over? Not
well.
Well, we appreciate those of you who have jumped in to join us. Wow, a lot of people have already jumped in to join us. And I know we're kind of splitting hairs here because right now, also actively happening is the Florida A&M National Alumni Association having a Zoom meeting. Look, I can actually show the meeting. The meeting is happening live. There's the agenda of the meeting. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't figure out the audio to actually get it to come through. So I know many of you are maybe doing split screen duties and you're watching it and you're watching that. Maybe you're watching it. I don't know, however you're doing it, but we will get reports and we will find out what the National Alumni Association thinks to the lead story that has sort of consumed the week. So with that said, I say hello, Kelvin. Hello, Marcus. And hello to all of you who are watching us, whether you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, maybe you're watching us on X, also known as Twitter. I didn't even bother setting up the Instagram, but you may also be watching us on mybcsn.net, the Black College Sports Network webpage. We appreciate you. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up and the like button and the thumbs up wherever you are, wherever you're watching. Like, thumbs up. Now, let me explain something here before we get going. Okay, this is a show by FAMUans, about FAMU, for FAMU. We are unapologetically about the culture and the history, the pride, tradition of Florida agriculture and mechanical athletics, but also the university as a whole. Okay. So any and everything that is said today is said out of love for our athletic program and university. It ain't personal. We have a lot of nice people in nice positions, but a lot of things that might get said today are maybe more so about the performance of the job that is being done by the caretakers of athletics and the university. Did I say that fairly? Did I say that fairly, Kelvin and Marcus?
You were quite elegant in your delivery, and I concur with you.
Well, thank you, good sir. I tried to, I want because it may get ratchet a little bit later. I'm just saying that, okay? It may get ratchet later. If you choose to enter into the chat room, please be advised there are any numbers of hashtag pissed rattlers in the chat room. So I don't know if I have my moderators. I don't know if I will kick people out, but you may catch a lot of venom if you come into the chat rooms talking this, that, and the other, being disrespectful. Okay. And if you don't understand the culture, that's fine. Just sit back and observe. Listen, watch, learn. You might learn something today. Also, our show is dedicated to all FAMU athletics. Before we even knew hell was about to open up, we had already booked and planned to talk to
two championship
coaches. Coach Garfield, Ellenwood, who will be coming on at the bottom of the hour. Of course, he is the championship coach of our cross-country program and going to lead our indoor and outdoor track programs. I got a feeling we're going to catch a title in one of those two. It might be men, might be women, could be both. Won't be surprised to see a championship among the 4 opportunities that we will have this year. So we're going to talk to him. And then we're also at the top of hour 2 going to talk to our championship baseball coach, Coach Jamey Shouppe. Okay. He, of course, the first, if you want to say major, if you look at the major sports or whatever of 2023, he led the baseball team, actually has led the baseball team to championships in 2 conferences, in the MEAC and the SWAC. Okay. Baseball season is about a month away. Track is probably weeks away.
No, indoor has already started.
It's already started. Okay.
They got to meet this weekend. Coach will talk about it.
Right. So we want to continue we have to keep the conversation going about those sports as well, because we won championships and we want to continue to win championships. So if at any point in time you feel like, hey, why aren't you guys talking about it? Well, look, that time will come. And we might even send a link out to let you come in and talk with us and share your thoughts, because I know a lot of you want to share your thoughts and comments. That time will present itself. But I just wanted to say that early, get it out the way so that people know what's up. And I do see that Dr. Lori is good to see Dr. Lori. She's driving. Please drive safely. But when she checks in, she will be assuming moderator duties, especially in the YouTube chats. But I can see everything. So, yeah. Yeah. All right. So, should I get the shout outs out the way first, or do we want to get right into the headlines?
Well, let's do shout outs.
Yeah.
I like that. See, that's how you guys know the show. Let's get the shout outs out the way. All right. Let's give a shout out first off to Bull Chelsea. Bull already. Bull was in way early, coming in with the big stick, ready to get after people, and the belt. Kelvin's got it on. He's ready. I'm gonna say hello to EA. EA jumped in. He had a long comment, so I'm not even going. We'll get to EA's. Let me start EA stuff, because he got a lot of thoughts. I love it when he jumps in. I know he's probably watching a little of the NAA thing as well. Melissa Wilson checking in. Good to see you, Melissa. Thank you for coming in. Marcus, thank you. Yes, Marcus, appreciate you watching on 2 devices. That's what I love. There's be a lot of people, a lot of rattlers doing that tonight. Demetra Alford, thank you, Demetra, for coming in, checking in. Love to see it. A lot of passion. Appreciate you. A&T Roy checking in. Not a rattler, but we always appreciate other folks coming in. So thank you for coming in. Sam Dixie, good to see you, Sam.
What's up,
Good
Sam?
to see you. Yeah, it looks like, so I think by seeing a couple of people's comments, Marcus will be kind of doing a little double duty in the chat rooms, keeping people updated in case you missed something. We'll be looking out for that as well. Coach Ferrasi, good to see you, Coach.
What's up, Coach?
Thank you for coming in. Hey, southbound 3000. Hey, look, okay, come on in. We love to see, I know y'all want to see what's going on with us, so come on in. It's all good. Just be respectful. Don't get sniped. Jay Brown coming in. Good to see you. 2 screen watching. Love to see it. Kenya Sykes. Kenya
What's
coming
up,
in. Kenya, you got to make sure.
Black dollar giving.
Thank you.
Giving.
I'm glad you said that. I'm going to make sure to pub that in the show. Don't let me forget about that, guys. I got to make sure we publicize that, as well as the softball thing as well. Yeah, we got to make sure we pub that. Good evening, Miss Champ. All right, Miss Tamara T coming in. Good to see you. Hollow trying to do both. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Montre Bennett, thank you for coming in, brother. Appreciate you. Chuck Hutt from Monroe, Louisiana. Monroe, Louisiana.
I love it.
I just love saying Monroe, Louisiana. I love it. I got to get out there one day.
I love it because Chuck is consistent. Not only does he always check in at every show, he's letting you know anytime he checking in, it's from Monroe, Louisiana.
Hey, look, it's one of those places where now I don't even know if I know of any other cities other than Baton Rouge and Monroe, Louisiana. That's the only two cities I know in Louisiana.
Come on now.
New Orleans.
Come on now.
Sorry. See, I thought that, you know what? I think of New Orleans as its own, I ain't gonna say a state, but it's just like its own entity, you know. But yeah, I forgot that's in New Orleans too. Let's see. Anybody else that I miss here? Chaka Perkins. All right, good to see you. Okay, the high checking in. Jimmy Matt, always appreciate you coming in. Doing a little bit of both. Appreciate you. Eye of the Watcher. Thank you for wishing well for us. We need it. We
do.
Ashton Harris, thank you for checking in, brother. Ashton, don't check out.
I ain't gonna tell on you, Ashton. I'm glad to see you. I know you sneaking it in.
Yeah, good to see you. Hey, I appreciate you. Hey, Rick, exactly. It's a let it air out tonight. I hear you. But I just wanted to say what I had to say.
Coach.
Yeah, I see Coach Tyrone McGriff. Coach,
what's
good
up,
to see you.
Oh.
Good to see you. Thanks for checking in with us, Coach.
Congratulations, Coach, on your awards too and your nominations.
Amen.
And a great season.
Oh, yes, indeed. Miss Joanne checking in all the way from
Big Ben team.
California, checking in. Miss Joanne, good to see you.
What's up, Miss Joanne?
Watch JD TV, checking in on 2 devices. All right, let's see. Janice Watley, my son is a rattler. Okay. Well, we appreciate you coming in and checking us out. Aaron B.
For sure.
Oh man, that's thank you, man. That's what's up. We appreciate you, Aaron. Thank you for coming in. Okay. A couple more here and we're gonna get going. Marcus Leach, thank you for checking in from Columbia, South Carolina. All right. Takari Calhoun checking in. You've been waiting on this. Well, I hope we don't disappoint. That's okay. That's family, huh? All right.
Extended.
All right. Extended. I got you.
It's FAMULY.
I got you. Eric Sanders from Albany State. We appreciate you. Home to a head ball coach who's a great rattler up there at Albany State Golden Rams. Of course, none other than the great Quinn Gray. All right, so I'm sure there's some others of y'all checking in. We appreciate all of you. Who'd you see? Oh, yeah, George Johnson. Appreciate you, George. All right, right in my backyard here in Orlando. Okay, well, here's what we know. Headlines. As of, it was sometime Tuesday. Okay, sometime Tuesday when the headline first came out, and really these were reports. Of course, nothing has been said officially, and you all know that's not how this works. But all sources that we have, and I'll even go as far as to say sources that Vaughn Wilson of HBCU Game Day has, have said that Coach Sean Gibbs, who is currently the head coach at Fort Valley State, appears to have been offered the position by athletic director Tiffany Dawn Sykes, and has accepted to her. Vaughn also reported that assistant coaches with his Fort Valley State staff appeared to be coming. And I think what is most troubling, and I'm just going to go right into it, and I don't want to get too deep into it because I know we're going to talk really extensive about this after we have our interviews and conversation with Coach Ellenwood and
Coach Shouppe.
Coach Shouppe. I'm going to back up for a second. When all of this started to come out, and I'll tell you what led me on Monday night, on Monday afternoon, when we first started getting word that the coaching search was going left and that we hadn't heard of any names that we have been talking about or that the players have been talking about for current assistant coaches getting interviews, we started to wonder what was going to happen. And I said to myself, guys, as I'm watching the national championship game and I'm watching Michigan, I kept saying to myself, our culture, our traditions, our history is on the level with the University of Michigan. And as I watched their athletic director stand up there in an interview pregame during the afternoon and talk about the pride that he had in Jim Harbaugh. And we know, anybody who's been paying attention to college sports knows that Jim Harbaugh has been involved in some controversy. There are a lot of people on the outside of Michigan that say, oh, he should be fired, he should be suspended, blah, 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 right? They have been unapologetic about Jim Harbaugh is our guy. He is a student, a child of Bo. Played for Bo Schembechler. Bo Schembechler, one of the greatest coaches at Michigan in the current era. You know what? After he retired, you know what Michigan did after that? His assistant coach took over for 4 seasons, and his assistant coaches won championships, Big Ten championships. When that coach stepped down, the next assistant coach under Bo took over. That guy won a national championship in '97 with Woodson and Brady. When he stepped down, they went away from Bo's guys. Guess what they did? Lose. 3 years of losing because they went with the sexy coach in Rich Rodriguez, who left his alma mater to go to Michigan, right? After his experiment failed, they went to another hot, sexy coach, Brady Hoke. His 3 years did worse. He did a little bit better, but he still lost. Didn't win any conference titles. Did a lot of losing to Ohio State. Guess when Michigan got back on the right track? When they came back to one of their own. Jim Harbaugh leaving the NFL to come back to one of their own. Came home. Feels real similar to where we were in the Valley for a while. And we brought home Mr. John Eason, the late John Eason. Brought home.
Not late. He's still around.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not Eason. Who was it who had passed? Which AD had passed?
Nelson Townsend.
Nelson Townsend. I'm sorry. I apologize to Mr. Eason.
But he hired the previous coach before.
Yeah, he did. It was Townsend Townsend was an AD, and then so I apologize, Mr. Eason. But former AD John Eason hired Willie Simmons, brought him home, a guy who should have been a Rattler, right? His family is Rattlers. His wife are Rattlers. Brought him back home to rebuild and restore the tradition that were built by men like Gaither, Hubbard, Riley, Joe, names like that, okay? And what did we do? In the first year, after going 3-8, yeah, I'm sorry, Dimitri. After going 3-8 the year before, Willie had us 1 game away from winning the MEAC title.
Actually, I think we went. Didn't we go 1-10? Or was it 3-8 our last year? I know we went 1-10 one of those years.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out. The year before Willie got there, were we 3-8 or 1-10? It was a losing season.
Keep going. I'll let you know.
He got us back on the track. So in the second year in the MEAC, we won 9 games, self-reported ourselves for some NCAA violations, beat North Carolina A&T, who at the time had an assistant coach by the name of Sean Gibbs on staff, working under Sam Washington. But we beat them. And they were in the midst of a 2-year, 3-year run of running over the MEAC and winning Celebration Bowls. Willie beat them. We beat them. We finished with a better regular season record. Won a Black College National Championship. Disputed, sure. But had the best record in the MEAC that year. And then we know what happened when we went into the SWAC. So it brought me to the question, Marcus, what's wrong with FAMULY? What's wrong with our history, our culture, that we would go away from that? Why?
That is a great question. I don't know why. We have plenty of folks who understand the FAMU culture, either by having gone through it or by proximity. So it's seemingly, especially coming off this year. I mean, we've, as you so eloquently put it, we came from the depths, probably the worst 3-year period. And I'd have to look at the record. Probably the worst 3-year period.
Oh yeah, ain't no problem. History. Yeah, I can answer that. Yes.
First 3 year, and to be honest, we were in the desert then, and we were reaching for water even years before. So I mean, it wasn't really. If you look back at 2003, the season that we went to or attempted to go provisional 1A, from 2003 until 2018, with maybe a couple highlights here when we had Curtis Pulley and Coach Taylor, but for the most part, it was far below the standard and the expectation of what FAMU would have for its football program. And in the midst of all that, or because of all that, in parallel, we had turmoil in Lee Hall, turnover, same in the athletic director's chair. So nothing was going right. And then Willie Simmons saw fit to come back to his home area and resurrect the program in 6 years, going from 6-5 his first year. And I still argue, given a play or 3 here, we could have had a 9-win season that year. But 6-5 the first year, and in contention to go to the Celebration Bowl in his first year with 1 more MEAC win, and then running off 4 straight playing seasons over 5 consecutive years with the COVID, with 9+ wins, culminating this year in a 12-1 record and a Black College National Championship via the Celebration Bowl. So you would think that between someone on his staff who's had head coaching experience or a lot of significant experience at other universities, or some of the alums who are getting their chops at other schools who can come back and continue the tradition, would be at least a consideration. I mean, it should be more than a consideration, but you at least have to kick the tires and understand the culture that you're getting into, the culture you're asking a coach to get into, and understand the historic season that we're coming off of, and that folks weren't going to have anything less, and have not lower their expectations for anything less than being back in Atlanta in August and being back in Atlanta next December. So reboot wasn't really in the cards. That wasn't on the bingo card for the FAMU people. Reboot, no. It was reload, and it would be a small reload with little bullets because we had a lot of people coming back.
Kelvin, we've got to get ready to go to a break to bring in Coach G. I want to give you a chance. Did you want to get in something very quickly, or kind of hold on to your comments until we get into a little later with deeper discussions?
No, we got to go. I got to go a little deep with this. So,
okay.
So
I love it. I love it. Again, as we told everybody, we're in the business of celebrating and talking about FAMU as a whole. We don't talk about football, but we got championship coaches to talk to. So coming up after the break, we're going to talk to Coach G, Coach Garfield Ellenwood, our coach of the year for our cross country team. And then, but also we've got an indoor season which started, and we're going to talk to him about that, and as well as the outdoor season. And then at the top of hour 2, we talk about the baseball season, which will be getting underway as well in about a month with Coach Jamey Shouppe. So hang in there, take a short break, very short, come back with Coach G after the break. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
We're back. It's time for the 2024 Urban NerdCon. Join us in Atlanta, Georgia, April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel. Special guests include Underworld creator Kevin Grievous, Gary Gray from Fairly Odd Parents, from Nickelodeon, Giovanni Samuels, the Science Machine Michael Green, the Sci-Fi Sisters, and from Spaceballs and Star Trek Voyager, Tim Russ.
Hi, I'm Tim Russ. Join me April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia for the Urban NerdCon. Our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone con. I'll see you there. Live long and prosper.
Visit theurbannerdcon.net to get your buy one, get one free badges before the price increases. Remember, our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone's con. See you there.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan, Marcus, Kelvin, and I know a lot of you, again, thank you for coming in and watching the show. Again, great comments going on in the chat rooms. Appreciate you guys keeping us updated. I know a lot of you are watching two screens. You're watching us and you're watching the National Alumni Association meeting. So let's get ready to introduce our first guest. He is a championship coach of our cross-country program, which some people might say they shocked the world, but I know he's going to say, nah, we knew we were going to win this. Back in the fall, actually was the first fall program to win a championship in the new school year. And welcome to the show, Coach G, Coach Garfield Ellenwood, champion. Hello, champ. How you doing, Coach?
How you doing? Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Hey, Coach, I'm glad we got a chance to talk. We didn't get a chance to celebrate you back after the season, so we definitely want to say congratulations to you. Let's go back for a second and talk about that win. And that cross-country team and the way those ladies, of course, the cross-country program is well, I don't know, it's primarily our ladies, our women that run cross-country. So talk a little bit about just going into that tournament and the strategy. Did you have a good feel that we had a chance to win? Just give us the background on that.
Well, actually, I'm the director, but Tamika Kinchin is my head cross-country and middle distance coach. So for me, it was just about believing in her, believing in the athletes that she recruited. She felt very, very strong about them, so when I talked to her about where we're going as the meets go on, watching them compete, and she kept telling me they're going to be ready. They're going to be ready. And I believe in her, I believe in them. They bought into what we've been selling, and that's we want to win championships. And they got out there and performed. I mean, it was really exciting for you guys that I'm not sure. I know Vaughn came to the meet, but he can tell you it was very, very exciting to watch them come down the home stretch and be the underdogs. It was 8 last year. No one expected it.
The strategy and the way that the team wins is really based on how you finish. So was that discussed in the ramp up to the meet? I mean, did the ladies know that, okay, we need to try to finish at a certain point, or did you get a sense as you're watching the movement in the standings that, okay, we know that if we can get ended up with 5 runners in the top 40, or was it 6 in the top 40, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, they finished strong, and that is cross country is pack running. And, we were blessed to meet is held here in Tallahassee. So, Coach Kitchen was able to take them out, really work on the course and work on their pack running, getting them in position and knowing that they had to be in striking distance when it counted. I mean, Alicia, and a lot of them are half milers. They're not actually cross country. Nia Coleman and Sierra Barrera are true cross country runners. The rest of them are half milers, but they all bought into what she was saying. They trained hard. They got stronger. Their speed paid off being half milers because they were picking people off coming down the last 200 meters. And once you get, like Bryan said, once you keep everyone together and they finish strong, that's how you win. Because it's the lowest score. So if you have 10 people, if you got first and third, then right there, that's 4 points. So the lower the score, the lower score wins. And that's just what they did. I mean, it was really exciting to see them bond and come together. Like, we're going to do this. We're at home and we're going to protect home.
Nice. Go ahead, Kelvin.
So, Coach, I got to ask now, have y'all get fitted for rings yet? Do Rally Nation need to raise some funds?
Yes. We did get fitted for rings. We're just in the process of, I got to raise half of it, but that's a goal. I'm working on that. My sport administrator, Mike Smith, is, supporting me, helping me what we got to do to come up with that other half and get them taken care of.
Hey, Coach, get you a QR code and give it to me. Give it to us, man. We'll put it out there. We got you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey,
appreciate it.
Rattler Nation has shown we can raise some money.
Yeah.
Hey, so and right now, people might be hot about other things, but they in a given mood. They want to celebrate champions. So you put that QR code together and let us know. Hey, we need X amount because we're that amount short for rings for these ladies. Oh, I guarantee it'll get done.
Yes, sir.
Put that QR together for us.
Yes, sir. You will have it tomorrow.
Okay, so Coach, I want to switch to I know you got a meet coming up indoor.
Yes.
And this is men and women at this point.
Yes.
First, my first question is there an indoor track here in Tallahassee in the area? And if not, how do you prepare for the indoor season without an indoor track?
Well, it's track. You're going to run 400 meters outdoor, 200 meters around. So it's just about teaching them different points. We call it points on the track to complement where you are outdoors versus indoors. But, we love having this weather. We love to be able to train outside because then, when you go inside, hey, what the temperature is going to be. So
you see it as an advantage.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Because you can get outside, you can open up more. Indoors, if you don't have an indoor track, you're restricted to hallways. When I was in junior college, we had to run on a basketball court. But now when you're outside, you can open up. And honestly, indoor sets have outdoors anyways. So all you're doing is going from one phase to the next, stretching, shortening the race, working on the first half, but you being outside, having the opportunity to train outside, you always train for 100 meters. You run 60 on your way to 100. So you're going to train for that 100 and you happen to get to 60 on the indoors. Same thing outside, 800 meters. Only difference between indoors and outdoors. Indoors is a mile and outdoors is 1,500.
Okay, so how do you feeling, Coach, in terms of where are we both on the men and women's side? Where are we right now?
Oh, I'm feeling very, very, very excited about both sides. I mean, we recruited in pretty much a brand new crop of student athletes. We have some transfers, high school state champions. Just on the men's side, they had the Maryland state champion in the 110 hurdles. Came in. We have a couple of transfers in from the University of Albany, San Diego State. The freshman of the year, Tiana Brown, ran for me when I was at Alabama State. She's on the team now. We just got some other transfers in. Victor Smith was a SWAC champion in the 100 meters last year. He transferred in. Kendrick Winfield, a SWAC champion in the 400 meters. He's transferred in. I was returning to Dejon Clark. He's a SWAC long jump champion. Him and Victor was gonna go at it in 100 meters had he not had a fluke accident before. Like I said, the middle distance side, Lacey Dubosky returned from having a 5 or 6 second drop in 4 months of training with us last year. She's back. I mean, we're excited from one end to the other. I can't forget my throwers. Danae Hill, she just set personal best. We went to Clemson and right out the gate. Junior college All-American high jump champion, Brianna Marshall-Brown. I mean, we put something special together, and I'm really excited about where we're going.
Got me excited. Go ahead, Marcus.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, Coach, thank you for coming on. That was going to be my question is, give us some names of folks that we need to look out for both indoor and outdoor season. But you kind of answered that a little bit.
Yeah, we're not a one-trick pony. That I can promise you. Okay. We have a good nucleus all the way around. Like I said, when Mike interviewed me, the search committee, I want to be the first HBCU to win a national championship. You have to have pieces in all areas, and everyone has to come together to work as one to make it happen.
And it looks like you've been making some inroads for 2024. Now, I believe the young lady signed, but I won't mention her name just in case she hadn't signed and get you in trouble. But she's out of Woodlawn High School in Baltimore.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Ariana Ladson.
Yes.
Right now, I think she's number 9. I'm gonna tell you exactly what she is in the country. I think she's number 9 in the country right now. Ladson. Yeah, number 10. She's ranked number 10 in the country right now in the short hurdles. She can sprint and run the short hurdles, and that's my type of hurdler. So I'm very excited, very, very excited what we're doing in the way we're building. We're trying to build something. It's going to be a foundation that's going to last.
All right, well, thank you. Do we have any other class of 2024 signees?
No. Right now, that's where we are.
Okay.
Kind of got focused on the season and making sure everything was in place. I'll circle back around and hit a couple state meets in February, junior college nationals and things of that nature.
Okay.
So we got. I'm curious the start of the Clemson Open. So the Clemson opener, which was December 8th. There's a month of it. There's a gap of about almost a solid month between that and this weekend's meet in UAB at UAB, the UAB Blazer Invite. And so, if I'm not mistaken, I had heard that our track athletes were around during the break. What is there a reason why the gap in terms of meets, or is that sort of normal planned? I'm sorry, I'm a novice at this, so I explain a little bit of the scheduling and why the season doesn't just start in January versus you started in December and then you get going.
Well, honestly, it's give athletes an opportunity. I'll use it like this: you open up, see where you are in December. You've been training since September.
Okay. You
get an opportunity to run before you go home for the Christmas break. So that's either going to motivate you to train. If you run well, and if you don't run well, you better do something. So it gives you an opportunity to get what you need to do to know a benchmark to see where you are. Some people will do inter squad meets, but it's nothing like lining them up against someone else and seeing where you are. The real season starts this weekend. Okay. That's preseason. That's what we call it, preseason.
Okay. All right. See, I can relate to that. You tell me preseason, I can that my mind switches. I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. So with this weekend's meet, the UAB Blazer Invite on Friday and the Vulcan Invite, the differences are those two separate events, or what's the okay? So two separate events, and you're obviously probably going up against what you might call Power 5 programs, or we would maybe be classified a mid-major. But what's the field look like, and what's the hope and expectation going into this weekend?
Well, the field is first some SEC schools, SWAC schools, of course, Sun Belt. So one thing about track and field, you're going to get a lot of institutions that are closer to the area of the facility, whether it's anywhere from 6 hours and under, where you can bus, unless it's a big invitation, and then people will fly in. But you got Mississippi State, I know offhand, Sanford. But at the end of the day, one thing about track and field, mid-major, you're gonna line up against professionals all the way to Division III. So it's mano a mano. You put on your pants one leg at a time, just like I do. It has nothing to do with the conference, and that's the beauty of track and field, Division I track and field, because you got Division I, II, III. Everybody gonna get the opportunity to see who's the fastest person on that particular day.
Right. All right, and so that makes sense because you got Birmingham, Alabama, and then the following weekend you're traveling up to Columbia, South Carolina.
Yes.
So that's all within a bus, and then you even got Clemson the following week, and so it's like the Clemson meet is more so in
February.
February. So actually, there's two. I see there's two different meets in South Carolina, and so you pretty much have two back-to-back weekends. So people give people an idea of the schedule. Two back-to-back weekends this weekend and next. Then there's a couple of weeks off, and then you go into 2 more weeks. And then it sort of leads us into the SWAC indoor, which is back in Birmingham. So is it too early to start, as they say, handicapping or predicting what the SWAC indoor meet might look for us? Or do you kind of like to wait and see how we do over those next 4 meets?
Well, at the end of the day, I'm going to claim it. We're going to win because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to claim it. But at the end of this, it's going to be God's will. But I'm going to control what I can control, and that's having the Florida A&M Rattlers ready to perform on February 6th, 17th, and 18th. And we'll let the chips fall where they may, but we're going to be ready.
Nice. Go ahead, Kelvin. You got anything else for Coach?
Yeah, Coach. I know you're familiar with it, and I know that most of the Rattler Nation who are watching are extremely interested in is the FAMU relays coming back, and if so, when, and what needs to happen for it to come back and be successful and be at the level it used to be, at least close to it.
Our goal is to bring it back 2025. Waiting to get the date for I want to try and do a Be Out Day weekend. Yeah. Because it would allow everyone to interact and really get a FAMU feel. So that's the goal. We were just trying to I guess they hadn't set the date. I haven't asked in about a month, but I need to find out what day that's going to be. But that's when we'll have it. 2025 Be Out Day weekend.
Do you remember those days, Coach? Do you remember the old Be Out days?
No,
when the track meet was?
I don't. Not when the track meet was, because I'm from up north. I went to Seton Hall.
Okay.
But when we had Be Out Day last year, was my first one. Okay. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. Look at all these people. It's like this is the perfect time to do it. Mm-hmm. And then talking to Dr. Oriaku and Mike, and they're like, we used to have a party that let baseball had something going on at the same time. People would come and fellowship together. I was like, that's what we need to get it back going. Why not have you look forward to the Florida relays, and then you can look forward to FAMU relays.
Yeah. Just imagine homecoming in the spring. That's what you saw at homecoming, Coach. Mm-hmm. That's what that Be Out weekend was in the spring. It was almost like that spring homecoming. You had a spring carnival, I guess is what we used to call it, right?
It was called a spring. It was called a spring sports carnival. Okay. And the headline and the headliner was the track meet, but you also had tennis, baseball, and softball. Typically, all the spring sports playing home tournaments that weekend also, along with all the recruitment efforts for the regular students. So people everywhere.
Oh yeah. That's the goal. That is definitely the goal. Before I go, I wanted to talk. We've been talking everything athletics, but I definitely wanted to touch on our academics. I'm sorry, and the fact that because we have been up for, I'm sure a lot of people know they've been talking about football and track, and we were on the verge of going into sanction. But in a year's time, we've been able to get our men's GPA up to a cum of 3.23 and our women up to a 3.34 in just 1 year's time. And I want everyone to know this just not about athletics, it's about academics as well. if we carrying the torch on the athletic side of being the #1 academic public HBCU, well, we have to do our part. And I want the community and everyone to know that it's not just athletics. They're going to get a degree.
What goes into
Very
that, Coach?
important statement. Thank you.
Yeah, what goes into that? Where does the help come that the student athletes need? Or just talk a little about the behind the scenes. What helps make that possible?
Well, we had our own designated academic advisor, Herb Richardson, and Carrie Hickey. Herb was our main, and Carrie is over academics. And they really gave us the support that we needed. Herb met with the athletes once a week. They had to set a meeting. I set the tone from the beginning. Some of them didn't like it. I said, transfer coming in, and new freshmen, you got 8 hours study hall. You miss one time, warning. Second time, suspended for a week. Third time, you got to go. Same thing with returners that had a certain GPA. They had to have study hall hours. And they actually bought in. We didn't have people bucking the system. Some students going to be students, but I would say 98% did what they needed to do, and it showed in the classroom. And at the end of the day, they realized, hey, let's take advantage of this. We got to be in here, so we need to do our work. And they did it. And I'm very pleased. Carrie got me the data, but this is the highest GPA been since 2019 for men's track and field. Nice. Men's and women's track and field, actually. So, I can't, but my staff, we work diligently to stay on top of our group, stay on top of the team, and stress how important it is that we had to be academically sound, and they did what they had to do, and we're going to continue that.
Well,
leadership, Coach.
Yes,
leadership matters.
Thank you.
And I'm glad, and that's why I wanted to bring that up. And I'm glad you took a second to mention that. And that's why I wanted to mention, because I know there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we don't see, and a lot of people behind the scenes that help make it possible for the student athletes to be able to achieve greatness, not only in the classroom, but on the field. So that's what it takes. It takes a team effort. So the team. That's what it takes.
The championship team.
That's what it takes to build championships. Exactly. All right, Coach. Any last words? Any shout outs? Anything you want to make us aware of besides that QR code that you're gonna get us, so we can make sure we raise the final bit of dollars for those championship rings?
Most definitely. I appreciate the support. I love listening and watching you guys, and as things evolve, we'll keep you updated, and hopefully maybe get some athletes on. Just let people know what we're about and what we're trying to do.
For sure. We definitely love to have some of the young men and ladies from the program on. So we'll try to in that gap between the next upcoming meets, we'll kind of look at the schedule and see how we can make that happen. All right.
Okay. All right. We'd love to see you guys come out to practice sometime as well.
Hey, there it is.
He challenged us, so I got to show up.
I know. You got to show up. And then
what's your practice schedule, Coach?
Man, I'm outside all day from 11 to about 5.
Okay.
I love being outside, Coach. So I handle my paperwork, and I love being outside doing what I love to do.
Hey, he was just hoping that you weren't going to say 6 a.m. or something like that. He was just checking. He was like, Coach, what time are you practicing, Coach? I'm hoping you don't say 6 a.m.
Now, when it get hot, come March, April, yeah, we'll be going early.
All right. Sounds good. Coach G, Coach Garfield, Ellenwood, and our men and women's indoor track program, our teams are up in Birmingham. So if you are a Rattler in the Alabama area, Birmingham area, UAB Blazer invite on Friday, the UAB Vulcan invite on Saturday. So we want to see our Alabama Rattlers rally around, get over to the campus of UAB.
No.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Birmingham Crossplex.
Thank you, Coach. The Birmingham Crossplex in Birmingham. It's indoor meet, so don't go to the outdoor track. It's the indoor meet. We'll make sure to retweet that from the track and field Twitter page and everything. So much success this year, Coach. You got us fired up. You got us excited for the track season. So we look forward to following along and highlighting the men and women who take care of business. All right.
All right. Thank you for your support, and you guys be blessed now.
Yes, sir. You too, Coach. Thank you.
All right.
All right. All right, there he is. Coach G, Coach Garfield, Ellenwood. Hey, quick poll question by in the NAA chat, the NAA meeting that's going on. Are you satisfied with the current leadership of the FAMU athletic department? I wonder what that's going to look like. I wonder what should I hit here. I'm gonna keep my choice private. What's interesting though, as you know, obviously, like a lot of you guys, we got one eye over here, one eye here. I noticed there was a beautiful PowerPoint put together by the NAA talking about things that they can confirm. And one of the interesting things that is confirmed is that there have been no, and this was said at the booster meeting yesterday as well. There has been absolutely no conversation with anybody in the leadership of the Booster Club. This is your primary athletic support organization. The NAA, who just raised you $140,000, and I'm saying you, athletics, right? No word at all about this search. Nada, nothing. No phone call to say, hey, we're thinking about doing this. Or, hey, this is where we're going. Or, hey, this is where the process stands with so-and-so, coach. Nothing. And then they said they have, now, say what you want. They haven't even been thanked for raising $140,000.
Oh, it's more.
Who man, look. I know we got a couple minutes here before Coach comes on. Kelvin, do you want to say something here in these short 2 minutes before we go to break, or are you kind of still holding back?
What I'll say is this. This should have been a layup. This was an easy W.
Finger roll.
We've had a historic athletic season in 2023 with 4 championships just in the fall. We only offer like 4 fall sports. Let's see, cross country, football. We don't offer men's. I mean, we don't offer soccer, which are also fall sports. So out of the fall sports we offer, volleyball played for the championship, cross country women's won it, and football won it. This was a layup. I mean, there was no way you were supposed to be able to mess this up. The players the whole time were very clear in what their wishes were. The alumni, I mean, we all saw names being dropped and they were the same names, right? Internal candidates. And if you did go outside, external candidates. And if you look at the credentials of the person that they recommended, how are the coaches on the staff supposed to feel? That's something that hadn't been talked about. Because what I would tell you is that they were not contacted at all either. Even though those who were qualified and wanted the job notified the AD that they were interested in the job. They received no response. And then the kicker on that, and they should feel disrespected by that. And then on top of that, you wait till the convention, the coaches convention is happening, and everybody's gone. And then you try to get this rammed through the process while they're not even here. You hadn't talked to them literally since Coach Simmons left, and you named a interim. That's unprofessional. That shows a lack of care about your own coaches and your own players. And that is a deal breaker for somebody who claims they care about the student athlete experience. And more importantly, you ask people to raise money at a time where really you knew the reality. You know what you had said to that man agent. You know, you pretty much pushed them out the door. Made the decision real easy for them. And you ask these people for this money under false pretenses. It was raised. And you have not included them. And this is not a title university, meaning this ain't her university. She just got here. FAMU's been around a long time. They've been doing great things a long time. So for someone to come in and just think that they know better than everybody else, and that they don't have to answer to nobody, that don't exist in this world. Whatever unless you own an organization, you got to answer to everybody else. And this is a service position, right? You're here to serve these students. You're here to serve the alumni. You have to work a shared vision. You don't even have the experience. We talked about how she even got here and how flawed the process was. But you know, my wrath is bigger than her because somebody brought her here. And a lot of people have been thrown under the bus. I ain't gonna lie, FAMU athletics administration being AD is a hard job. It's a very hard job, and it's not very fair sometimes. But at the end of the day, this was a layup, a slam dunk, and you messed it up with everybody. And the price got to be paid. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. It can't be fixed. And I was hoping that we wouldn't be in this. I just want to celebrate our championship and all our coaches be there and all our players be there and keep this train rolling. That's all I want, man. But we are where we are, and I leave it there for now.
We will talk more about that and this situation a little bit later. I did get a phone call. We'll have obviously we're going to, this might be an extended show. Won't be super extended, but Vaughn Wilson is confirmed that he will join us later in the show with some updates from the NAA meeting. We got to celebrate and talk to another championship coach coming up out of the next break, because in about 1 month, actually I'm looking at the calendar now, 36 days, 18 hours, first pitch of the run it back season. The run it back season for our baseball program, and I'm super excited for this one. For our baseball program to kick off 2024. A lot of high expectations. So coming up after the break, we're going to talk to the head ball coach himself. Is it 2 or 3-time champion, Kelvin? What is it? 2, 3?
He's got a MEAC title and a SWAC title.
Two-time champion. Two-time championship coach Jamey Shouppe, coming up on the other side as we talk about the start of the baseball season. So hang tight. We'll be back right after these words. You're watching the O&G StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
We celebrate champions here on the O&G StrikeZone, and no better champion than our two-time championship winning coach, 2023 SWAC Baseball Championship coach, Jamey Shouppe. Coach Shouppe, how you doing, sir? Good evening. Welcome back to the O&G StrikeZone. You got you on mute, Coach. Got you on mute.
Take it. Off mute.
There we go.
How about that? You got me?
There we go.
Gotcha. There we go.
Because I wanted to make sure you heard me. Those championships are hard to come by, too hard to come by for y'all to sell me one short. So we've had.
That's right. You got three.
I knew there was three.
He got two in the MEAC.
Thank you. I knew there was 3.
We won it 19 in the MEAC.
Yeah.
And then we won it this year, the second year in the SWAC. So we're second year in the MEAC, that I was in the MEAC, and then the second year that we got in the SWAC.
Hey, talk your talk, Coach.
Too hard to come by.
Too hard. I know, Coach. I had it at 3. I knew I was right there. It's all good.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. This year is all that matters. And nobody cares about last year now and what we did. Although I like our chances this year. I like our club. You know, that's all you ask as a coach. Baseball is a weird game. The strongest team's not going to win. The fastest team, the tallest team. It's just the team that prepares the best. A lot of luck involved, but we do have a talented team this year. So we're excited about that. Let me say, I too, with the with Willie and the championship, the football championship in the SWAC, the HBCU National Championship. Congratulations to Willie Simmons and the job he did in his tenure here. Not only those Gaston County folk are good folk, being I was born in Quincy as well. Okay. But Willie Simmons is a great man. So even though it's a sad time for us in losing Willie, it's a great time for he and his family. He certainly came here and did us proud as a university, and we can't do anything but say thank you to him and tell him how much we appreciate what he's done. So hats off to him, the football program from top to bottom. Because it wasn't just a football team, it was a football program. And that's what a good coach does. He doesn't try to build a team, he tries to build a program, and the team follows suit to win a championship as he has. But what a great career. Also, too, you mentioned women's track and field cross country, I think it was, won a title this year as well. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that volleyball played for the championship. You left out that this is the 3rd consecutive year that they have played volleyball. Women's volleyball has played for a championship, winning 2 of 3. So that's, quite a bar set very high for the rest of us athletic programs to follow. So it's been a good fall for FAMU athletics.
Hey, Coach, we were when Kelvin tweeted out the thing about the update about the SWAC standings, we were kind of doing a little math. We're going into the spring. We might be in contention for that Commissioner's Cup. So it's like no pressure on baseball in the spring now because the fall kind of got it done.
You know our fan base better than I do. There's always pressure at FAMU. So
that's what I love.
Especially with baseball. There's always a high expectation with our baseball program. And that's the way we want it. I
love that. You embrace that. I embrace that. Embrace it. I love it.
Absolutely. You might as well because you set a certain standard for your program and for yourself, and you don't change that based on the years.
All right. So, Coach, I know going at the end of last year, if I recall, it looked like we didn't lose a lot of players. If I recall, at that time, we sent off 5 seniors, a few pitchers, a few infielders. I know we lost our catcher, a few pitchers. And so give us an update from the fall. Obviously give us an update about fall ball, and then the returners. Did all of the expected returners return? What's the roster looking like?
Fall ball went well. I mean, it was a good 45-day window for us to really look at a lot of new guys. We do have a pretty good nucleus of guys returning in our lineup. We didn't lose a lot of numbers, but we lost a lot of quantity in those numbers from last season. We lost Hunter Veach, who was an outstanding pitcher for us. And then we lost a guy that the last 6 outings he took, or 5 of the last 6 outings he took the field as our closer. He got a save, for us to win the SWAC tournament and all. Zach Morey. We also lost Ty Hanchy, that you mentioned, our catcher, who was our 2-hole hitter. Interesting story with Ty. Ty was told that he had a great chance to be drafted. The Braves were looking at him strongly. And he was asked, because there's only 20 rounds in the MLB draft now, and he was asked, would he sign to save them money for $5,000 to go play professional baseball as a signing bonus? He said, I'll take any amount of money. I just want to go play. So the Braves said, well, we'll draft him the 18th, 19th, or 20th round. And that's what they told me, and that's what they told Ty. Well, the draft went through, and they did not draft him. But so they called me after the draft and said, would he sign for $5,000 as a free agent? And I'm saying, I'm sure he would. And so the Braves called him after the draft and offered him $5,000 to sign. Well, the only problem with that was they were 5 minutes late, because 5 minutes before that, the Giants called him, offered him $20,000.
Hey, there you go.
So he is in Arizona. They put about 20 pounds on him, I understand. They're teaching him Spanish, because so much of Major League Baseball and minor league baseball is a strong Hispanic. About 50% of Major League Baseball, minor league baseball are Hispanics. So he's teaching him Spanish as well. And I understand he's doing well. Ty Hanchy can play. He's an athlete. I remember a game that we played against Bethune-Cookman when he was arguing with one of the players on the other team. After the game, we won at their place. He stared into their dugout in full catching gear after catching 9 innings, does a backflip, and then points in their dugout, then runs off the field. So he was a tremendous athlete. And then the other position player we lost was a guy that hit 3 for us the whole year and was a 4-year starter for us in Jared Weber. So we lost 4 key guys right there, along with some other guys. But I feel good about who we returned. We returned, to me, the heart and soul of our team in Ty Jackson, our leadoff hitter last year, our center fielder.
Should have been SWAC Offensive Player of the Year, in my opinion.
I thought so too. I don't know. Anyway, there ain't nobody else I would rather have leading off and playing center field that I've seen in the SWAC, or very few other programs other than Ty Jackson. Hit 370, almost a 500 on-base percentage, and he comes to the field every day, game practice or rainouts, ready to play. He's infectious with his enthusiasm. He did suffer an injury in the fall. The last game of the fall, he slid into second base, and it was the first game of the fall. We're only allowed 4 games to play. Slid into second base, playing aggressively like he always does, broke his ankle. He had that tightrope procedure that Tua had with the Dolphins. So he'll be back probably about March before he'll be back in our lineup. And even though that's in time for conference play, he'll miss the majority of our non-conference schedule. And we better be decent, because our last season, I don't know how many people really know this, but last season, we don't win many out-of-conference games because our competition is really tough. Last year, it was voted on by college baseball as the 3rd toughest out-of-conference schedule in the country.
Wow.
And we do that to prepare us for SWAC play, so that when we get in SWAC, there's not going to be a pitcher that we haven't seen a better one of. Our pitchers aren't going to face hitters that they ain't already faced a better hitter in a Florida or an Auburn, or in this year's schedule, some teams that were super regional teams. This year's schedule may be tougher out of conference than last year's schedule. I say that because we have 25 non-conference games. 14 of the 20 non-conference games are against teams that were either regional or super regional teams last year. including Florida again, who, you know, was runner-up in the country, one game away from winning a national championship last year. A team that they beat us 3-0 in the regional, in a very good, very, very well played, very well pitched by Caleb Granger baseball game. So we better be good for the schedule that whoever put it together. Obviously, that was me. But I was maybe it wasn't in my right mind when I put that schedule together. But we got Eastern Illinois to start the season. They were a regional team last year. We got them for 4 games. We got a team that not many people have heard of named Indiana State. Indiana State was a super regional team. They were 1 win away from going to the College World Series last year. Mm-hmm. Troy, people think of, you know, Troy up the road. We played 2 games with Troy. Troy was 1 play away from going to a super regional. They had Alabama beat, and the shortstop throws a little errant throw to first base. He couldn't make the play. Alabama ties the ball game up and wins an extra inning, or they're going to a super regional. Auburn, I mentioned them. We got them. Again, in total, we've got 14 of our 25 non-conference games against teams that were regional, super regional teams last year. So it's a very tough schedule. Ty Jackson, as I said, will lead us off. We got Joe Perini back at second base, 4-year starter for us. Gosh, Joe led us in doubles with 21 doubles last year, had 8 home runs. Sebastian Greco will hit in the middle, first baseman. He 17 school record, 17 home runs. Jan Michael Bastardo will play right field. He had 13 home runs last year. To put that in perspective, we had 4 guys, if I'm not mistaken, last year that had more than 10 home runs. Yep. In my 9 previous seasons before that, I had 0 guys with 10 or more with double-digit home runs. So we were very good offensively, and I feel like we've got a chance to be better, be as good this year. Guy that didn't play last year, Brody Popple will do some time, spend some time catching. Switch hitter that has a chance to replace Hanchy, very athletic like Hanchy was. Jalen Niles is back at shortstop. Adam Hadamoda is back at third base. Ben Kim is back in the outfield. Jordan Brown is back in the outfield. A couple local guys have done well. Will Brown,
a lot of returners, Coach. A lot of returning guys.
A lot of returning guys. And even though we lost Viets and Moray, our pitching, we don't have the lights out guy like we had in Hunter Viets, but we have a lot of quality depth this year pitching. So I think our pitching's good. And that was our problem last year. We didn't pitch well, particularly well. But I think it's going to be better. We got 2 new coaches. That's always big because I don't care what anybody says in any sport, coaching still matters. If it doesn't matter, then you ain't got a very good coach, because a coach has to have an influence not only on but off the field on his players. But 2 alumni. I've got Jeremiah McCullum back with me. Jam was on, we call him Jam. Jam was on our championship MEAC team in 2019, was our closer. And then I got a catcher from that team as well, Tucker Rabin, who was our 3-hole hitter that we played some first base. Actually, 2019, he played first base, and he moved to catcher in the 2020 shortened COVID season in 2021. But 2 young guys that have instilled a little enthusiasm back in our program. It's always good to have those youngsters there, not only for throwing BP for this old guy, but just that enthusiasm they bring to wanting to practice and wanting to get better. Brett's back with me for 2nd or 3rd year, I guess, this time. I had him for 2 years, and then he left to go to Alcorn State. Now he's back with me for another year with a new baby, might I add, and new wife and new baby. So I love my staff this year. I love Brian Henry. He's doing a great job at TCC. But I probably enjoy this staff, just the enthusiasm, having that youth in our program better or as much as any staff that I've ever had at FAMULY. So excited about that for the players. And I mentioned coaching matters. And whatever you do as a head coach, you're only as good as your assistant coaches are. And I love these guys. One thing and I said this last year, that I knew we had a chance because we were good character-wise on and off the field. And usually a pretty good indicator of that is the academic prowess of your team. We had 45 guys on our roster this fall. And this is what makes me as excited as anything. 45 guys on our roster. 40 of those 45 players made the AB 3.0 honor roll this semester. Nice. 40 of 45. That's unheard of. I mean, yeah. So I'm proud of these guys. They do what they're supposed to do, and they're very, very talented on the baseball field too. So from a coaching perspective, all you want is to have a chance, and these guys give us a great chance this year to repeat as champions.
Well said. Go ahead, Kelvin.
What you got for me, Kelvin?
Coach, I'm gonna go to what you need. I want us to raise some money. I know you had your little golf tournament, and I know that you do have a alumni that is pretty active and do their part, do what they can to raise money. But still, I know we still trying to get that turf field down there and some other things. Tell me where we are in terms of, I know last year, you might have been a little behind the 8 ball trying to get everything ready, but where are we now in terms of facilities, and what do we need to do to help you, Coach?
I don't know the answer to that question. I know where we're at. And it's the same place we were last year. What we need to do to get beyond that and get turf on that field. I mean, softball has it, football has it. Baseball is probably your most expensive sport in terms of getting the field ready for anything because of the infield, dirt that has to be redone every year or two, because of the size of mowing it. I mean, it's a very expensive overhead to get it run. So I mean, it'll pay off in the long run. I know it's a lot of money. If we'd have done it 4 years ago, it would have been about $600,000 less than what it would cost currently. But gosh, I just hope for our players' sake, again, our guys work on that field before and after practice every day to get it ready for practice. It's just, you have to do that to have a good playing surface for your players, for safety purposes, if nothing else. So hoping that'll get done sooner than later. The money that it costs, the $1 million+ that it costs to do that, I can't raise that. I mean, that's not my responsibility job. I raise $25,000 to $30,000 every year, have raised more some years. I try to do that every year to do the little things, but there's nothing left over to work toward the field. So it's just going to take some school involvement, some state involvement to get that done, I guess. I don't know. Where did the money come from football or from softball? It's got to come from the same source, I guess, because I'm sure softball didn't go out and raise that money, and football did it. So hopefully that'll happen. I think our players deserve it.
Absolutely.
Our student athletes deserve it. Love to see that happen. But, I tell my guys all the time, excuses are nothing but lies. It don't matter. There's no excuse for not to win or not to be prepared to win because of our field. That's just one thing. And our field is not good. But that's where we are. So come to practice every day. Don't worry about the field. Have a great attitude, and let's get better. That's that's our job.
So Raleigh Nation, we got to do what we got to do. We got to come and help this program get better facilities, but also come and support these guys both at home and when they're on the road.
It'll be a fun team, Kelvin, too. This team will be a fun team to watch.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to score some runs. I feel like we got a pretty good offense. I think we can, pitch well enough to keep us in ball games, and it should be a fun year. I know it's hard to switch gears because I'm with you guys. I'm a huge college football fan, man. I enjoyed watching what the Rattlers did this year in football. I enjoy the playoffs. I enjoyed the game Monday night. I'm looking forward to the playoffs this weekend. I love football. And it's kind of hard this time of year to get real excited about baseball. But how many days? You tell me 36. I didn't even know that. So
I'm watching the counter, Coach. 36 days.
Yeah. You know me, I'm not a social media guy, so I didn't even know there was a countdown. That's good to hear.
It's on the website. Yeah. Okay. The whole schedule on the FAMU Athletics website. So yeah, good stuff.
Year 11 for me at FAMU too. I hope to go 4 or 5 more. If I do that, then I'll turn this over to Brad or somebody else. If you guys will keep me for that long. So
that sounds like 4 more championships, Coach. What I heard. That's what I heard.
Did you guys no pressure at FAMU ever. There you go.
No pressure, Coach.
None, 0, ever.
Hey, the Nick Saban of FAMU baseball.
Is he done? I heard something today about it. Is he done?
Yes.
He retired.
Sounds like
retired today.
Yeah, what? I didn't know that. I had to speak tonight, so at a restaurant, so I didn't know. I've been out of the loop. We practiced today today was our first practice actually, and it went well. So we're first official practice is the 26th, but under the 20-hour-a-week umbrella. But we were allowed 4 hours on the field per week this time of year. So today was our first little run through. We put them in 2 groups and got out there and hit a little bit and threw, and we'll do the same thing tomorrow. Then we have a big showcase coming up on Saturday at the field. FAMULY showcase, baseball showcase with high school kids. So we did outstanding with recruiting too. In my 11 years here, it's probably the best recruiting class we've ever had. So I'm excited, and a lot of high school kids, which is a rarity these days with all the transfer portal and all that. But we've got some quality high school kids that I'm very, very excited about. So looking forward to, these kids will come in, and if I go 5 more years, these kids will take me out. So they may be good enough to get us a few more championships between now and then. I hope so. I think they are. I mean, and again, this is not coming from somebody that just says it to say it, but I put 11 teams over at Florida State that went to the College World Series. So I think I know what a good club looks like, and these kids can play a little bit. So I'm excited about that.
Love to hear it.
Marcus, go ahead.
Good evening, Coach. Actually, you kind of introed into my question as well, because I saw, I try to keep track of the signees and commits, and it looks like we have about at least 7.
I think we have 10. I was going to go to my list here on my phone. Yeah, I can announce those now too. So
okay,
let me pull those up. So here we go. We got a local guy. We got Jay Campbell out of Leon High School, who was an infielder. He signed with us early. We got Josh Bell was my first commitment. He's a kid from down in the central part of the state. Georgia kid, and Corey Fortson, big right-handed hitter that can really swing it. I think his mother graduated from FAMU, if I'm not mistaken. A catcher, first baseman, left-handed hitter named Trey Kraft, high school kid. Another local guy, Garrett Workman from NFC, big left-handed pitchers. Got a chance to be really, really good. Wellington, unusual name, a kid by the name of Wellington Heen. And he's a big boy, man. He's a two-way guy. We actually signed 2 two-way guys, him and a kid named Cameron King from Georgia as well. And they're both, Heen's a first baseman pitcher, and King can really play almost anywhere. Pitcher also, right-handed pitcher. Got a big kid from Chicago, Illinois that is an outfielder named Derek Owens. Ernie, don't blank on Ernie's last name, but worked with him with USA Baseball. He's got 2 kids that play at Southern right now. Ernie Ratcliffe, former Major League Baseball player, and a good friend of mine. Ernie sent Derek Owens to our showcase, and he can really hit. Man, he's a big boy who swings the bat very, very well. A kid named Justin Lopez, shortstop, middle infielder from central part of the state too. And then the only junior college kid we signed early was Justin Cruz from TCC. Their starting center fielder's got a chance to come in and be really good and possibly replace. I don't know you'll ever replace Ty Jackson, but he's a type guy. If anybody can do it, he's a type athlete that can do that. So those are 10 kids that I love, and 9 of the 10 are high school kids, which is a rarity for us. But I you get the good ones. We haven't gotten so many good ones because there's better junior college or they're better transfer portal kids. But man, I love these kids. I think it's our best class ever, and I look forward to seeing what those kids look like with a couple of years under their belt in our program. Just the future of our program, without a question.
Well, thank you. And I wrote down a couple of names. I had
7
out of the 10.
Look them up. You'll be impressed by their numbers and by what they can do.
Hey, just to let everybody know, I put in the chat, I put the link to the Rattler Athletic Fund's Diamond Club, which is the support of FAMU baseball program. It's fund number 2241. So you can go to the Rattler Athletic Fund and donate to the Diamond Club, which is the support of FAMU baseball program. And those funds are the funds that go right into helping support our baseball program. And, it's funny, Kelvin had kind of put some of the numbers in what it takes to get that turf. Boy.
Bryan, I just paid bills, some of the bills today. I still got some outstanding bills, but people don't realize we go through 85 dozen baseballs in a year. That's $7,000 just for baseball. We buy the players 16 bats. Don't ask for why the number 16 is really because all I can afford. And that's another $7,000. I mean, there's $14,000 for you can ever blink, not even to start practice yet, not including all the gear that you buy, the T-shirts when you're talking about putting 40 people in a uniform, practicing every day in shorts and stuff, cleats, tennis shoes. It's expensive. Baseball is an expensive sport without a question. So yeah, it's that's why we raise money to help offset some of the costs of that. We need funds. Obviously,
we're telling people, Coach. We know we're telling people. And I think it's always interesting when you can give people numbers. It's like to give people a goal. Like we've seen recently with the fundraising efforts, we kind of knew what the number we needed to get to, and all of a sudden people were putting out money. So I think one of those approaches is, hey, if people know, like, hey, this is what's needed, or, obviously bigger picture, of course, turf field takes a lot, but even those smaller things you talk about, more bats, more baseballs,
the turf is needed, but it's not a necessity. The things we have to buy are a necessity to keep this program going. Let me say this too, something I don't know if fans even realize that. When you come to the game, if you're a fan, and you look on the outfield fence and you see the signs out there, the Chick-fil-A signs, those people, for us to put that sign up, give us $1,000 a year. So if you support FAMU baseball, support them. And if there are any businesses out there that have $1,000 in money for advertising that they use every year, would love to put a banner up. Just contact me on my email, and that would help us. That's how we raise some money for our program for these kids as well, is those outfield banners you see out there. And you see several places around town. Support those businesses because they support us. We'd certainly appreciate that.
Hey, I would be remiss if I didn't ask. Obviously, a very famous Hall of Fame baseball player had a son that was a part of the FAMU athletics program, specifically a Hall of Famer in Ken Griffey. And I know his son played football, but were there any opportunities or was there any discussions about Ken helping the baseball program and saying, hey, I see you guys need things. And besides just coming out and being a supportive and sort of a mentoring voice to the student athletes, but I mean, he can look around and see what's needed, like anybody who comes out to Moore Kittles Field. Was there any opportunities or any discussions? And feel free to say I can't really talk about it, but I'm just curious.
No, first of all, what a great man Ken Griffey Jr. is. Just a great guy. So, and I say that because not from what you read or what you see, because he did come to a practice back when his son was being recruited. It was actually on his visit. Willie brought him by to practice, and he had other things. Willie had other things he had to do that weekend, but he was there at practice, and Willie kept trying to rush him along because we had planned for him to talk to the team for about 15 minutes. Well, Griffey's still talking to the players 45 minutes into the day, into the practice. I'm looking at my watch. Willie's saying, I got to do so. We got to get him going. I'm like, they're talking to a Hall of Famer. I'm not going to take a Hall of Famer. Right. That's your problem, Willie, for your recruits and your official visits. But I ain't pulling a Hall of Famer away from my guys. And so the guys at the end, when he did wrap up, and he spent a lot of time with them, at the end, he wanted to get a picture with the team, or they wanted to get a picture with him. They took the regular picture. Then some of my players, I forget who it was, came up with the idea, said, can we get a tribute picture? He said, what are you talking about? And all the players turned their hat around backwards and took a picture with him with his hat on backwards, which was, one of his trademarks from the kid. But yeah, he was a genuine guy. You could tell he loved people and loved baseball players and loved the game. And it was just a special. I mean, we've had some great. We've had David Ross, the manager for the Cubs, former manager of the Cubs now, I guess. Speak to our guys. We've had Ken Griffey Jr. We've had
Dusty Baker.
Dusty Baker. Yeah, we had Dusty Baker. We were late going to Alabama State because he was in town. He stopped by, and again, same thing. He spent an hour with our guys talking. I was thinking 15, 20 minutes, he would be tired and ready to go. And I mean, he took pictures, took his time. It was beautiful. Dusty Baker's an awesome guy. Still got his number in my phone, but I can't give it out. So he spent a lot of time with our guys, man. He's just an awesome guy. So we've had several other big leaguers that have come and spoken with our players. And that's what that's what the college experience is all about. Just getting not only good icons in the game of baseball, but good men as examples to stand in front of our guys. So yeah, there's been some special guys that have come out there and spent time with our players. Ken Griffey Jr. being as special as any of them. So yeah, he did spend a little time in terms of soliciting money from me. I'm not that good.
I know that's not you. That's not. Look, I know that. Look, as a coach, you're like, that's not you. I know that. Yeah. But I'm just saying, Kelvin, we got to find somebody to sell up. Yeah. So after coach says thank you, somebody kind of slides in right up to, hey, look, we need to do something. And I know we got people out there, but
Kevin alluded to Tony Bell and what he does in raising money. Charles Johnson, the son, Charles Jr. played at Miami and then played in the big leagues won a World Series with the Marlins, I believe. So yeah, we've got some guys working hard to raise money. Again, one thing I won't do, and I've said this from day one, is I'm not going to turn this program into a high school program, meaning I'm not going to have our players have to raise money like they do in high school. Because what's going to happen is they'll give it to the parents, and the parents are already paying for half their schooling, and I ain't going to do that. That's just high school to me.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's my job. We'll do a little bit of that and just hope we get more support from FAMU Athletics and to support our program the way I think it needs to be supported.
Well, absolutely. I know we got some great organizations that are trying. I guess we just have to continue to kind of find a way to really hit a home run, to pardon the pun, of getting somebody to drop in a big significant check to make things happen. But
that would be nice. No doubt.
Yeah, Kelvin, do you want to get a last question, last words there with Coach?
Coach, I want to know. I know the expectations are high, and you all up to the task. But I'm wondering. I see some kids on this team that not only have good production, but they seem to have that next level size and metrics and so forth. Is there a couple of guys that scouts been talking about, looking at, and so forth?
Yeah, we've got, in my opinion, we had to turn in something the other day for the HBCU, the one Griffey runs. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but the one that was in Seattle last year that
right.
Is that the Swingman Classic?
Swingman Classic, yeah.
Okay.
And I was supposed to turn in 2 names, and I turned in like 5, just because I think there's 5 guys that are capable of playing at the next level. You know, when you talk about Joe Perini and Ty Jackson and Jan Michael Bastardo and Sebastian Greco. And I mean, I just like our lineup. Haydamoto, Niles played in it last year. I like our lineup from top to bottom. So I'm excited, but all it means in baseball is you got a chance, because anything can happen. You know, baseball is a game of inches. There's still a little bit of luck involved in winning a championship. Everything has to fall in place just right. But the whole thing, our job and our responsibility as coaches is to have these guys ready to compete. And that's what we'll spend the next 36 days, 18
36
hours,
days,
whatever.
Probably 17 hours. 17 hours now, Coach. 17.
Make sure these guys are ready, not only physically but mentally. It's just part of the process and part of the standard that we have in this program. We're going, our saying is 2 ways to do something. We're going to do it the right way, or we're going to do it again till we get it the right way. So our guys know that. These guys are so easy to coach. Most of them have been in the program for a while, and the ones that haven't are learning from the guys that have. So it's a special group of group of kids. Like I said, 40 of the 45 made a 3.0 and had 3.0 last semester, which was better than golf, by the way, Mike Rice, which we always compete with.
He finally got him, Coach.
Yeah, I had to get Mike Rice in there, so no doubt, who does a great job with our golf program as well. I mean, all our coaches, we got a good group of coaches. I just wish there was more money there to make these guys feel appreciated. You know, the coaches for the job to that. It's we got a good coaching staff, a good community of coaches that all care about each other, and that's fun. It makes it fun to go to work when you're talking to Robert McCollum and about his basketball program. He stops by your office, or you go see him. And, you get to know the student athletes out there in Gaither, where they all come to, Carrie Tolson and academic support. We see them, going to her all the time in the hallway, and they stop by. I had a football player stop in today, so it just makes it fun. FAMU is a special place. I told the story several years ago that me working at Florida State, it's different there because it's such a big school, and these kids, they get everything they desire there. Here, that's not always the case. We had a dinner after a ball game up on the hill after the ball game, and Anthony Robinson, who is now the AD at Florida High, and by the way, his son is a freshman getting a lot of PT at Missouri playing basketball.
That's right,
doing really well. Anthony is a better friend of my wife than he is me, but I hired him because my wife told me I had to 4 years ago. Then he went back to Florida High to be closer to his kids. But he and I walked up on the hill after the game for a little covered dish several years ago, and I'm like, Anthony, you don't understand. This doesn't happen at bigger schools. You don't get that camaraderie. You don't get that closeness with the fans that you get here. And he said something that I'll never forget as we walked back down the hill. He said, Coach, there's a lot of love at FAMU. And, there is. There's a loving people. There's good people. And it's been fun being here and being a part of this. Again, I just wish there was more funds to support these coaches and these student athletes and these programs that are good, that have a chance to really, really be special. If there was a little more incentive for these programs to be, what they're capable of being. So it is a fun place to work in FAMU. There's a lot of love at FAMU. So, just enjoy it. Looking forward to this season too.
All right. Definitely well said. And we're gonna do everything. And I'm trying to avoid having to do a hunger strike out there to raise money, Coach. But I mean, if people keep messing around, I'm gonna have to do it, Kelvin. I'm gonna just come up there and be just, I'm gonna hold out until we raise the funds we need. I don't know how that's gonna work out, but we're gonna.
I don't want you going that far, but I do say thank you to you guys. Kelvin's been supportive of me, since day one, and you guys have as well. Miss Kofi, man, it just dawned on me that what's that been a year?
Almost. But he's proud. I know he's proud, Coach. I mean, he was there. He was there I felt his spirit on that day in Atlanta, that Sunday.
In Georgia Tech.
I felt his spirit, and his spirit has been with all of our championship programs in 2023. He
loved it, man. You talking about a lot of love. That guy had a lot of love for FAMU as well.
Amen. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And that's why we do what we do, because he inspired, besides being a friend and a brother, he inspired us, inspired so many people, and he was a big advocate of yours, of all of our programs. And so
solid man, good man.
So we're gonna share the info and try to keep spreading the word. The season opens February 16th at Moore Kittles Field with a 4-game series against Eastern Illinois. 1 game on Friday. I don't have no start times just yet.
4 o'clock. 4 o'clock on Friday.
Okay.
Doubleheader, 2 7 games.
Saturday.
I think 1 on Saturday, and then
that's correct.
Noon on Sunday. Noon or 1 on Sunday.
Yep. So it's a great opportunity to come up. I gotta circle that weekend. Try to make plans to get up there for the opening weekend. I think softball is the weekend before, isn't it, Kelvin? It might be.
I think they start like the 8th.
Okay, so
they usually start before we do.
Okay, so I'm just kind of circling dates now, so we can get up there and be there for the first pitch of the opening season. And we'll continue the conversation throughout the year, Coach, as we discuss needs and the season and everything. Great non-conference schedule here, and a lot of opportunities to see our young men play, and we're looking forward to it, Coach. So definitely a lot of love in the chat room, as people said. Good luck this upcoming year. Hell, hopefully everybody stays healthy in the off season. Because I know that's always a challenge.
It is always a challenge. Last year, the last 2 weeks of the season, we were out Ty Jackson, and it kind of affected our play. And then everybody seemed to be worried. We weren't worried because we knew we rested him on purpose. He could have come back sooner, but we waited till the tournament to make sure he was good and ready for that. And he was the difference. He's such a difference in our program. Just a good young man and an infectious personality. But appreciate all you guys do as well. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Coach, be well. Have a good night. Thanks for coming on tonight, and have a great season. All right.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. That's our championship coach, Coach Shouppe, joining us. All right. Some breaking news, some big news happening over in the National Alumni Association. I am going to send out a message to Vaughn here. He might be watching. I just got to send you the link here, Vaughn. So I'm going to send you the link. Vaughn said he's coming in hot, and we've got some breaking news. Okay, I can give you an update on that poll. Are you satisfied with the current leadership of the FAMU Athletic Department? 91% of the votes came in. Care to guess?
No.
Correct. Yeah. No. 91% came in.
That was a softball.
That was a layup. That was a layup.
See, ain't like the AD. I knock it out the park. You give me a softball. I'm gonna take that W.
Okay, so let me do this. Let me send Vaughn the link. We'll come in with Vaughn Wilson, HBCU Game Day. We'll talk about some of the highs and highlights of this, and we'll break some of the news that I appreciate you guys in the chat, Marcus and let me see, Jimmy
EA.
Mack, EA, Tamara T for keeping me updated, and so that we can share that information with everybody. And this is powerful stuff, man. This is powerful. Hate that it came to this,
Bryan,
but it yes.
If you couple how Jamey Shouppe ended his conversation about FAMU and the love, and how this place is different,
man,
and then you look at what we're going through with the current situation, that's the difference. He gets it. We get it. FAMU is different. It has a culture, but it is a culture of love. And sometimes it's a little dysfunctional and overboard. But it is a place of love. We love hard. We play hard. We love hard. And I think those who didn't get it now.
And the crazy part, it didn't really have to be like this. It didn't have to be like this. Let me take a break, and then we'll come in, because I want to start fresh and clean with Vaughn after the break. We appreciate Coach Garfield Ellenwood. We appreciate Coach Shouppe. And now we're going to turn our attention when we come back to the break to this saga of hiring a new coach that our athletic director has kicked the box full of rattlesnakes, and they're unhappy. So coming up after the break, we got Vaughn Wilson, HBCUGameDay.com. We're going to talk about what happened in the NAA meeting, which is still going on. So I was right to not bump our show, because they may have only wanted to go 45 minutes, but they are now 1 hour and 50 minutes into that meeting. So a lot of stuff to get off their chest. But I applaud Curtis Johnson for leading this, and all the other board members of the NAA for making sure that Dr. Larry Robinson and our board of trustees understand how we feel about FAMU athletics, our culture, our community, We care, and we just don't want to see anybody. We just don't want to see it treated like it means nothing. It means something to a lot of people. And we're going to talk to one of those people here on the other side, Vaughn Wilson. So hang in there. Short break coming up. And we got Vaughn. You're watching the O&G StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
The Couvé Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Couvé.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com. All right, good evening. Welcome back to the O&G StrikeZone. Bryan, Marcus, Kelvin Rozier joining us right now. Vaughn Wilson, HBCUGameDay.com is where you can always find him. Coming in hot. Vaughn, how are you? I have to say, how are you doing, Vaughn? But how are you feeling at the moment?
Bryan, let me start with a little bit of background and just a point of reference. Coach Simmons, during his term, made sure that the current players understood who former players were and, what they did. So he introduced me, he would introduce me every year at some point and say, hey, this is Vaughn Wilson. He played here. He was an All-American punter and this. So automatically, all of the specialists would become like my little brothers. They would all gravitate to me. And I took real pride in that. At the Celebration Bowl, you all remember in the fourth quarter, we were down in our own territory, and Will Hoyt boomed that 50-something yarder out.
Yeah.
He came to the sideline, fist bumped his teammates, and bear hugged me. What does that say? It's almost like he was looking for affirmation from us former Rattlers. Did I do good? And dude, I didn't care that he was sweaty or whatever. The pride of me hugged him so damn tight at that moment. It's because it's full circle. It's in us. And this is why I can not stop writing, not stop talking. I can't sleep at night. My wife is trying to give me no dosers, give me sleeping pills because I can't sleep. It's in my spirit that this is the moment that Reverend Moses G. Miles will say, activate, young man, activate your skills, activate what God gave you, and try to affect change. That is the reason. There's no personal, if I could remove my face off of it, I would. It's not, I have nothing to gain from coming in a combative mode, but for players like Will Hoyt and all of the other players who recognize me and look at me as the big brother, as the legacy that they're trying to continue, I think about them first. It's so often our athletic department says we student athlete first, but it's not, your actions are not lining up with being student athlete first. Absolutely not. So tonight, I'll take no joy in the fact that a motion was rendered and passed in favor of a vote of no confidence for Sean Gibbs. Because I don't want that actually, I don't know Sean Gibbs, but just to have something like that on your resume is not good, if it comes up. If you search for Sean Gibbs after tomorrow, that's going to come up in Google. I take no pleasure in the vote of no confidence for Tiffany Dawn Sykes. She's a person, she's a Black person, and just as a Humphreys Rattler, we all know he hated to fire anybody. He would move somebody else to a different position just because he said we as Black people need to keep our jobs, And so some of that is on me. We've seen this spiral over and over and over play out. But the problem I have, and I wrote an article as I couldn't go to sleep last night, and the article is, are we repeating the same self-inflicted wound we did in 2003 when we derailed Billy Joe's great team that he talked in length, and still it's a sour spot with him of how everything was ready to go and the administration derailed it? Well, a question has come to my mind as of late. A big question. We were not able to retain Simmons, although everybody was throwing money from everywhere, from the foundation to the boosters to the NAA. We weren't able to retain Simmons. Then none of his coaches were really considered. In my mind, that says you never wanted Simmons or anybody in his staff. You're trying to get a new system in.
Amen.
Who does that? The last person that did that was Reinsdorf at the Bulls. And they ain't won a championship.
I was trying to think of
series.
Right, exactly.
A whole popular series was done on that decision to just stop this championship run. Themselves. They stopped it themselves. And that's exactly how I look at going outside of our built-in system that we as alumni have invested in heavily over the last 6 years. We've bought into this and we saw the fruits of that. We're ready to do it again. Brian, I said the engraving hadn't even set in good on the Celebration Bowl trophy. And here we have dismantled everything. FAMU did what no other SWAC team could do, which was take down the Rattlers. We did it. 20 straight wins in Bragg Stadium. All that means something. There are so many things. And then the ramifications of hurting the brand. It's very, very difficult to rebuild a brand. Our brand is taking a hit from this debacle. I mean, just look at Texas Southern. It's ridiculous right now. We're right behind them.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you right now, with the vote tonight, it's really going to be hard for any of this to move forward. But if it was to get in front of the Board of Trustees with a letter from the boosters, with a vote of no confidence for the FAMU NAA, the Board of Trustees is going to sit and look at that and say, we don't have support for this to go forward. The people who would have to support it say no. FAMU athletics, as of the last couple of years, I don't know what they've brought in revenue, like advertising or any of those. I don't know. I haven't seen anything that says the fundraising has been go to the NAA, go to the 220 quarterback club, go to the boosters and get money.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I haven't. Have you all seen anything that Hey, Kelvin, did I miss that memo?
No, you're preaching.
Woof, brother. It's painful. This is a painful but necessary process. This says to everybody that if you're going to come to us and ask for us for money, you could at least say thank you and let us be a part of it. You know, it was, I mean, it's almost like robbery, bro. Hey, give me your money, then I'll go do what I want to do with it. You know, and that's not what we expected. I said, you know, earlier tonight on the call, and I was allowed to give public comment after the Orange Blossom Classic. I bought tickets for my family to the SWAC Championship, bought parking. We all know all of those things were premium. Okay. After that, 2 weeks after that, we traveled to Atlanta, you know, and stayed there in Atlanta. Right after that, my mother's grandmother passed. So we went to Miami and we spent Christmas there. The day after we get back from all of this additional things after the Florida Classic, there's an ask.
Yeah.
And my wife and I donated. Mm-hmm. At the end of the year, between Christmas and New Year's, where everybody, I don't care what level you are, your disposable income at those 5 or 6 days between there is pretty exhausted. So if you donate anything from there, it's a commitment from something else. And we did that. And there was never a thank you. There was never, where was the thank you?
That's crazy.
You see what I'm saying? So if people wonder why I'm passionate, I'm not mad, I'm passionate.
Yeah.
At my worst hour, we gave. At our worst hour, we gave because we believe in this. And so this is when you have to start looking at it. You wonder if everybody's throwing money at the problem, all the FAMU stakeholders, from the boosters to the Rattler F to the 220 Quarterback Club, NAA, Foundation, everybody's throwing money at the problem, but it doesn't happen. And we don't look right there and really quick name somebody in this system that we've built over the last 6 years to continue to try to run it back, to hoist that trophy again, then you realize it's got to be some kind of ulterior motive that we know nothing about.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's sad. It's almost like we were duped. And that's why people came back with a vengeance, with the boosters. And let me tell you, the boosters are very diligent. They never want to be, know, the guys that rock the boat. They just want to be supporters.
They don't want to be, exactly. Don't want to be controversial.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Some people look for that controversy. They run from it. They never want to be that. If nothing else, that letter from the boosters is a barometer of how serious this situation was.
Yeah.
This vote tonight underscores that. And FAMU's administration and athletic administration have to look in the mirror and figure out how this problem happened.
So again, just breaking news coming out of the NAA meetings. There was a FAMU National Alumni Association passes a vote. I believe I saw 19-1, a vote of no confidence in the hiring of Sean Gibbs. Then there was a second vote taken in which the NAA passes a vote of no confidence in AD Sykes' ability to lead. That I think was more like an 18-3.
Yeah, 17 or 18-3, something to that
effect. And both are shocking, but you know, they aren't unbelievable. They are unbelievable because, as you said, how did we get here? I've been saying for some time now, the only thing that I can think of, and again, I don't understand where her love, So again, I'm quoting, this is her dream job. Is that a dream as of, and I've used the analogy of being a kid growing up in the Midwest, watching college football on Saturday afternoons, Pac-12 football, and seeing USC and hearing that fight song and the helmets and the gold and the girls, the pom pom, and I'm like, ooh, USC would be my dream job to be an athletic director. But not really knowing what it's like to be at USC, to never going and spending time in California to understand the culture of California and USC and all of its traditions. So, and I kept going back. I was looking for interviews to say, why was this her dream job? Why? And the only thing I could find was something about going to a game and really liking the spirit of the fan base and how engaged they were in the game. And I kept saying, okay, but if that's it, if that was your thing that got you, that was that FAMULY spirit, that FAMU spirit that you saw. Because if that happened 10 years ago, Vaughn, man, it was 2013, 2012. There were some low years around that time, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
But the fan base was still there, still engaged, still excited about, still hopeful about FAMU football. So if all of that is true, how do you take what was built up in a year in which you were witness to 4 teams winning titles, which I'm going to give credit to my guy Keith for appropriately pointing out, you didn't hire any of the coaches who won those titles. You didn't hire the tennis coach. You didn't hire the baseball coach. You didn't even hire the cross-country coach, because he got hired maybe a week before you started, and you sure as heck didn't hire the football coach. But you were there taking pictures, smiling, being happy, celebrating. Hey, that's great. Okay? Do what you got to do. But you didn't hire those coaches. You helped maybe, you know what I'm saying? So, but hey, I get it. Student athlete experience. You want them to win championships and graduate. You're there. Why was FAMU and the FAMULY, why was the culture that Willie Simmons helped build up in the football, why was it not enough?
Bryan, first off, what's up, Marcus? I see Marcus up there. He like I'm gonna just get out of his way, but and I don't mean to come over to dominate, but man, y'all gotta know it's a lot in me. It's just so much that I won't even say. But let me tell you this. The greatest time of my life, I'm 57 years old, was my 4 years playing on the FAMU football team. We started out, we were not great. It was Hubbard's last year. And then Coach rallied my last 3 years, and we built it up to be co-champions of the MEAC my senior year. So it was tough. It was a grind. But the camaraderie with my brothers on that team, and I say brothers because till this day, we still call, we text, we're in groups together, we go golf together. Those are real family. If you go through tour-a-days with a guy, and Terrence Lundy and Quinn were laughing about this. You go through tour-a-days with a guy, and you're out there on the pit, and you're doing stretches with Coach Highsmith and Coach Kravitz calling out the exercises that you're doing. It's 100 and something degrees, and you flat on your back doing the hurdle stretch, which we used to do. And you looking straight up into the sun at 100 something degrees. You like, why in the hell am I out here? And you realize it was preparing you for those hot days in Bragg Stadium when we used to play the early afternoon games and the other team couldn't even stand the heat. But we all did it together. We suffered through that together. When you suffer and sacrifice with somebody, they are your family. They're your blood. We did that. And we as those guys, we all stayed on campus. So we ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner together up at the Cave. And then we traveled together. It wasn't that many cars like now. Hell, I was one of the guys on the team with a car. I got tired of transporting guys, sometimes I'd let them borrow my car, because that's just how close we were. It is a bond in a football locker room that is like none other. My passion comes from these young men who we have in that locker room now who came here for that. They came here for that bond. They came here to represent the orange and green. They came here to be taken care of, to be ushered, to be nurtured into the next chapter of their lives, whatever it may be. And we're destroying that dream for them. They're not having the experience I had. That's where my problem is. It all goes right back to them. I don't just say it. Everything that I do, my time is over. It was over in 1988 when we played that last game in Tampa Stadium. But after that, I feel a responsibility to try to help every young player that comes through that wears the same place, that wears the same uniform, that practices in the same place and plays in the same place where I played.
So I feel like I have to, and I appreciate EA. I'm gonna get to it because you've been very adamant about what I'm about to say right now. Mm-hmm. Our athletic director is a branch of the problem. And I hate to say this. No, I don't hate to say this because I've said it before. The root of the problem starts at the top. Okay. We have talked about this before. God bless his soul. Kofi has mentioned it before about Dr. Larry Robinson's where he has missed and where he has failed FAMU athletics. I won't go. I don't know all the reasons why the process was skipped for Dr. Larry Robinson to hire the athletic director that he hired, who wasn't a part of the finalists when he had an 18-member committee to go find an athletic director, and they came back with a group of names. And so that okay, that happened, but you brought this person in. You brought her in. Okay. And I think at this point, after today, we have to be able to look at and ask the questions of Dr. Robinson and say, if she made that hire or if she made that offer, did she have the support of Dr. Robinson to do that? Did Dr. Robinson know that she had not made a phone call or extended, and Kelvin, speak up and let me know if I'm off base on anything I'm about to say, that she not made a call to KJ Black, Quinn Gray, Billy Roll, Ryan Smith, who else am I missing? Billy Roll. 5 names. That's 5 names that we have all bantered about as potential candidates. None of those people contacted or given a courtesy interview over the past 9 days. But you went outside to people you know, which, okay, I get that. That's your right as athletic director, right? But shouldn't you, in the pool of candidates, have people who are already on the ground, boots on the ground, been in the culture, been in the environment, to maybe hear maybe what it is that they're going to bring that's something different than these outside people are going to bring? So if Dr. Robinson allowed for that offer to be extended, then he is just as accountable and should be held just as accountable now for this. Because the brand being damaged, as you just said, Vaughn, because now we're just as bad as Texas Southern. I mean, we haven't even got to the board yet.
Somebody in the comments saying we Texas Southern 2.0. We are right now. That's how we look.
Yeah, because it hadn't even gone to the board. The board doesn't meet until next week. So, and they don't have any plans, I don't think, in having an emergency meeting. So, okay, fine. We're just going to embrace it. We're just going to be just as bad as Texas Southern right now. Who cares? Okay, again. But that's the damaging of the brand. That's what we talk about. So if Dr. Robinson, you've allowed this now, this is the second time, Dr. Robinson, that you have allowed Florida A&M University athletics and its football program to be sullied by, I don't know if the word is incompetence. I don't know what the right word is, but it's the second time this has happened.
Hey, can I say something, Bryan?
Sure, please,
is this thing on? I want everybody on to really listen to me very carefully, because there's a narrative going on, okay, about compliance and academics. You know, I've heard some undercurrents that, you know, people were complaining about where Willie Simmons' APR was.
Man,
let me say this very clearly. No reasonable school on planet Earth in Division I that does not have the resources to dedicate personnel to academics and compliance can think any coach can coach a team, and with one compliance officer who's doubling as an academic advisor can get any kind of APR. That always was a university issue. That always needed to be handled. That's what the PhDs in education are. They're not down at the field house. You know why it went straightened up? Because the university was embarrassed and they hired 12 people. That's how many it takes. What do you think is going to happen if it's one person in that position? What do you think is going to be the result? So you're going to blame this man for having one person coaching a team, but when y'all took it over, y'all hired 12 people to do the job. This should have been taken over by the university before we got embarrassed last year. We got embarrassed into doing the right thing. That's what we did.
Yes, we did.
We got embarrassed into doing the right thing.
Vaughn, when we went and
while
looked,
the
Vaughn,
APR is attached to the coach, hey, I'm not throwing anybody else's name in there. I love Allison Watson. She's a very smart person. I don't want her calling no plays down there during the game. Willie Simmons is a good coach. I don't want him making any academic calls at the university. Plain and simple. That's what I feel about the APR and the compliance.
Vaughn, we were the only, when we looked at it, remember Kelvin and Marcus, when we looked into this, when this happened, we went through the entire conference. And when you go and look at the directories of all the other schools, that's when we knew there was a problem. We didn't even know there was a problem until we looked and saw there was a problem. Because we looked around at other schools and we're like, wait a minute, how come this school has 4 people, 5 people, 3? You mean we got 1? Whoa. It was like, how was that possible? How was that allowed to happen?
No, listen, the coach has to encourage the players to go to class and yes, follow up, but they should be giving reports. The coaches shouldn't have to be following players to class or getting reports from teachers and handling progress reports. Really? I got to get ready for USF and I got to figure out what they're doing in class. Somebody needs to report that to them. And there was one person. One person.
That's some high school stuff. As we as our
so it's going to follow. The APR is attached to the coach, but if you really look at it, that was a FAMU problem. Guess what? We realized that because FAMU fixed it.
Yep, they had to.
10 years too late, but they fixed it.
Mm-hmm. I wrote some questions that I had because I want to. Was there any other major talking points that came out of the NAA? Obviously, other those two, I did make mention of the fact that they did confirm that they could confirm that there was an offer made to Sean Gibbs, and that he accepted it. And that also that there was no consultation. And I say the word consultation, but there was no call to even inform anybody on the NAA that, hey, this is happening. Very similar to what the FAMU booster said the night before, that nobody called them. No call was made to say, hey, this is what's happening with the process and the plans.
But that's your financial department or your athletic department, but you can't call it for that.
Hey, I don't understand it. What anything else that came out of that
Listen,
meeting?
a call from a parent that was just heartbreaking. It was just it's just heartbreaking, and it shows tainting of our brand, because parents got to be able to trust they can send their kids here and have a good experience and get a great education. And this mom was in tears that these boys deserve better. She said they go to practice, they go to class, they do everything they were asked to do, and they weren't even listened to. Man, it was, I mean, you talk about, you could hear a pin drop. God, that hurts. That hurts. And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. I don't know what it is about FAMU athletics where we continue to cycle in people who just don't want to accept FAMU's culture.
There you go. Say it.
We continue to cycle people in who don't want to. Yes, you can make decisions. Absolutely. Make good, smart decisions for us. But take into effect the 135-year plus culture that has built FAMU athletics. Just take it into effect. And so you're not sitting there stepping on people.
You know what I find fascinating? And you've brought this up. We've talked about it in recent history. We've watched schools that have won carry on the tradition of winning. Jackson State did it when they brought in T.C. Taylor, one of their own, right? We watched North Carolina A&T, while we have so many A&T Aggie folks that all of a sudden are interested in what's going on with our university now. But they transitioned from Rod Broadway to Sam Washington in the midst of their dynasty. In the middle of it, Washington probably led the team that might have been the greatest of all the teams in that legacy, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
Did he not? Okay.
Well, Broadway went out undefeated his last year, so I can't really say that.
Okay, no, I was trying to figure out who went undefeated. Was it him?
Broadway.
Okay,
Broadway went undefeated, won the Celebration Bowl, and dropped the mic. Passed it over to Sam.
No, I got you. Okay, and then okay. We've seen, who else have we seen do similar? I mentioned Michigan earlier, but
the Chicago Bulls, the whole
basketball
Last Dance was about a dynasty that they destroyed themselves. They imploded with Reinsdorf's arrogance.
So here's my question.
College basketball, you have Duke and Carolina.
Yeah, exactly. They went to the guy who was sitting in the one chair, right? They went to the one chair. So I'm gonna ask this very pointed question, and I know Kelvin, I know Vaughn, you guys got sources and information. So, because I was thinking about these earlier, was A.D. Sykes' relationship with Willie Simmons so bad that she wanted to wipe clean any and all holdover of his era? Because what we have seen, in my opinion, adds a little bit of validity to the reports and rumors about comments that were made to his agent I believe at the beginning and in the middle of the season. Do you care to comment? Can you comment or any thoughts on that, Kelvin, and then Vaughn?
Oh, I'm very vocal.
Unfortunately.
Okay, go ahead, Kelvin.
No,
Okay,
I
but
was just gonna
yeah,
say,
I would.
unfortunately, go ahead, Vaughn.
Oh, okay. I was hearing a delay or something. It might be my internet.
Yeah.
But I would just say, if you're going to ignore all of the coaches that are there on staff, Ryan Smith, very well suited, in my opinion, to be a head coach. Cozy, very well suited to be a head coach. Certainly Billy Rowe, suited to be a head coach. It makes no sense that you this was an attempt to, I forgot what they call it. I'm gonna just expunge the Willie Simmons era. Just have no remnants of them there. And I'm
That's
sitting there
crazy.
going, what did Willie Simmons do so bad?
Crazy.
For my opinion, people love Willie Simmons. Willie Simmons was in the community. Willie Simmons was endeared to the community. He respected the traditions of FAMU. He was doing things right. But I think, Bryan, that this was an attempt to completely erase the complete Willie Simmons tree from FAMU.
Wow.
And let me just add, you look across the tracks, and every assistant on that ACC winning championship team got an extension and a raise. That's how you treat champions. That's how you treat champions. Because winning is hard. We established that, didn't we, Bryan? It's not easy to win. So look how other people treat their champions, and then look how we treat our champions. And there you have the answer. And in terms, I'll say it. In terms of some of those rumors, and yes, some of those rumors are very valid. There's absolutely a conscious effort to help push or make the decision for him to leave easier. And we all suffering from it. Our players suffering from, our coaches, our championship coaches who remain. They suffering from it because they're in a place where they love, and they had a team that they love. So now, how do we move forward, right? You've made a recommendation in which has been resoundingly rejected by the coaches, by the players, by the fan base, and the alumni. You got an AD who has a no vote confidence at this point. How does a coach from the outside come into this? How can the coaches who are still part of staff right now, even though some have offers on the table, how can they trust this administration, both presidential as well as athletically, to want to stay here when you've already shown them that you had no appreciation and respect for their blood, sweat, and tears that they put in with this program? You talking people, in some cases, like Smitty Rock, been here since 2018. He's an original. And the man has a pedigree. He has a background. And to not even call or respond, not even call. Say people reached out to you and not to respond to them. That's disrespectful. That's unprofessional. And somebody who's a little bit more mature and seasoned would understand that. A more professional and seasoned administrator would understand I got to be conscious of this culture, and I've got to work with the culture, not wipe away the culture. That's low hanging fruit. Come
Preach,
on.
Kelvin.
Come on. So I don't care personally how people feel about this vote and what FAMU look like. you can't be this unprofessional and this loose of a cannon anywhere. This is bigger than FAMU. In the organization, you have to learn how to network, build relationships. If you're the leader, then you got to lead. But leading is not that telling people what you gonna do. Leading is what can we do to be successful together.
You know what, Kelvin?
Seasoned leaders, really good leaders understand that. Go ahead, Vaughn.
One of your comments in your chat by Fangs Up podcast say, how classy does Willie's statement look after all of this? And that's a big point. It's because he respected and never wanted to be a part of the demise or controversy within the brand. And, you know, I was fortunate that he said he wanted to do one interview after all this happened. Because, you know, just I was a friend and he felt he could trust and not bait him in anything, to just let him talk. Sometimes as a journalist, it's not you dictating. It's just letting the person talk who is the subject and just guiding it along, but letting that person speak. And if you all saw it, I asked less questions than I ever have. I just let him speak. And he wanted to speak. But that was the classiest interview you would ever want to see, just like his statement was. Willie Simmons never wanted to upset the FAMU Nation. Although we really feel that he was disgruntled by some things going on. Just by context clues.
So. Yeah.
Just by context clues, he was disgruntled by some things going on. But he was like, you know what? I'll just move on and not leave any hatred behind and just, you know, let the Rattler Nation move on. Not many people had a fortitude to do that.
Marcus. Let Marcus get in. Marcus has been really quiet.
I know.
And I want to hear what Marcus got to say, because I know it's going to be profound.
Well, I guess first and foremost, I don't believe it needed to come to this. And a lot of, I guess, some of my perspective was given in the document that Bryan published around the thoughts about how we ended up here and going forward. And some of the things in terms of looking forward, they're kind of coming back to bite us now, because one of the things we mentioned was, you know, whether the VP, ADVP would have autonomy to make choices, but yeah, good or bad, you know, that's why we ended up here. But speaking to Coach Simmons, just having met him once when we were at the Celebration Bowl, but you can tell, you know, the type of person that he is from his interaction, from the way he maneuvered in different spaces, and the grace and kindness that he always spoke about. When he spoke about FAMU and the reverence that he had for FAMU. And I don't know if that was fully appreciated, because even on his departure and at least the interaction or lack of interaction with those remaining coaches seemingly didn't speak to the level of effort and energy that was put into this program, taking us from where we were. And we talked about at the beginning of this show that we were coming out of either a 3-8 or a 1-10 season in Alex Woods last year. We, since maybe 2003, 2005, when Coach Joe exited and maybe had one or two blips, you know, of positive under Coach Taylor, but we had been through at least a good 5, 7, 10-year stretch that belied the legacy of FAMU football and FAMU athletics. And the level to which Coach Simmons and his staff brought the team and lifted the spirits of the university Also, during that same time, having gone through multiple athletic directors, multiple presidents and interims, and switching that back and forth over the last 20 years, and to see where we were or where we are as of December 16th of this year, and not having a full appreciation for that. And someone asked earlier in the chat about this being the dream job, and thinking and saying that perhaps we're misaligned with that in terms of focusing on the wrong thing. And I wanted to address that, is that, you know, if there's something that's your dream job or your ideal, then you study it. You try to understand it, and you value its uniqueness. And in the sense and the way things have been handled the last week and a half, and perhaps even before that, you know, if all those things that were spoken about interactions with the agent and all these other things are in fact true, then it appears that study was incomplete, because an appreciation for the FAMU culture and wanting to be here would not have allowed you to make some of those decisions. And so that kind of calls into question in terms of the value and the understanding of the FAMU culture, and whether there was an intent to ingratiate and embrace, or to change it to some degree for whatever reason. And for the good things and probably the things that probably should change, FAMU culture is not, I wouldn't say it's immovable, but it's pretty hard. So there's
especially
some things
in athletics.
yes, there's some things we can work on, probably a few things we need to work on, but there's some things that just aren't going to change. And messing around with the crown jewel of the FAMU athletics brand that's been around for 100+ years from an athletic standpoint, and has the expectation of championship caliber teams, you have to understand that and appreciate that, and not attempt to it just didn't seem like there was much consideration given to the long legacy and the blood, sweat, and tears that over the last 6 years that Coach Simmons and his staff have invested in FAMU. Doesn't mean necessarily that somebody from the staff had to be hired. I don't think, my interpretation is that wasn't, you know, in general, that I don't know if that has to be the case, but consideration just for all the hard work that was put in, the effort, the love that the players had for the coaches and the coaches for the players, that to not extend an opportunity for someone to make the case, hey, consider me, whether it's somebody on staff or a former FAMU player who is now, or a couple of FAMU players who are now making their bones in college coaching and would seem to be a viable candidate, not to at least have a cursory type discussion. It kind of belies someone who would consider this a dream job and would have studied it as such.
Boy, Socrates couldn't have said that better himself, Marcus.
Well, thank you.
But that was cerebral. That was, I had to stop to slow down and catch up to the phrase. Great analogy, Marcus. Great analogy.
I knew it was coming.
Some of the core. I had to go back, Vaughn, to her very first interview that she gave with Allison Posey. About a 30-minute interview she gave with Allison, to get an understanding of what I might have missed over the past year. And what caught me was her core values that she says she stands on. Authenticity, being authentic. Integrity, balance, and excellence. That's what she said. And that first word about authenticity and being authentic makes me wonder, what have we witnessed over the past 2 weeks? Is this the authentic? This is authenticity. This is authentic. I mean, again, the not thanking the booster organizations that you called on. You called on them. The call was made to 4 or 5 different groups to what? Raise funds to help match or come close to matching this salary difference. The funds were raised. The coach didn't stay. 3-minute and 20-second statement later, and it's the last time we heard anything. Right? The last time, not the last time anything was heard by integrity. Where's the integrity in that? I'm just asking questions. I'm not questioning anybody's intent. I'm just asking the questions. Because how you lead, what you show me is what I see.
Believe what you see.
Your actions speak louder than anything. And nobody's asking anybody to be perfect. But if you're going to tell me about you stand on being authentic and that's your core value of who you are, then we have not seen your authentic self at Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University then.
You know what's interesting, Brian? John Grant and I had a long conversation last week. And we were talking about the Celebration Bowl. And he was deciphering the numbers as he and ESPN broke them down. And it was good to hear him because he said, Vaughn, we look at the 41,000. That was the attendance, right? 41,000?
Mm-hmm. 41,000
at the Celebration Bowl.
10 something, yeah.
He said, do you know that game outdrew Clemson, USC, and LSU's bowl games?
Yeah.
He said, do you realize out of 40-something bowl games, the Celebration Bowl ranked 18th? He said those 1.5 million viewers they're talking about that was down, the NFL moved the game that was normally 2:30 up to 1 o'clock. So the Celebration Bowl has never had to compete against that. He said, we are fine. That was a great showing. FAMU pulled their weight. So as we sit and talk about things like that, there always has to be perspective. And if we hadn't had that situation, I definitely would not have understood, in my mind, the numbers were down, from last year. But if you look at it in context of the way that the powers that be looked at it, they were very satisfied with this year's Celebration Bowl.
And rightfully so. So Bryan,
Kelvin, yes.
I kind of would like us to kind of talk about where we are and where do we go from here. How do we help right the ship as best as we can? And when I say we, I'm talking about Rattler Nation. I'm talking about the FAMULY, and that includes helping to push our president, our AD, and our board members in a direction that we all can be on one accord once the decision is final. But I think we have to talk about where we are, and that includes what the players have been saying, what the coaches on staff have been saying, and then now the process, how a typical process for a head coach works. And I'll start that off right now. So typically there's legalities within the contract, and it's multiple years. So it has to go to our legal team. So what typically happens with a head coach contract, it goes illegal before you offer anybody anything, because it has to be approved and contract language is adjusted and tweaked. Um, Clauses are put in for performance, and it goes back and forth because it goes back to the coach's representative, and they counter say, okay, we agree to this, but can we add this, or can we increase this, and so forth. So that process typically takes a week or so, and then from there, once everybody agrees on that contract, and that this is assuming the president has already gave his blessing that he's okay with this hire. Because the other important point I want to make is the AD cannot hire the head coach. They can make a recommendation for someone to be hired, but ultimately the power lies within the president and the board to finalize that recommendation. Okay. So we shouldn't have been offering nobody anything if those I's not dotted and those T's are crossed.
Unless now, if you think she's running rogue, that's one thing.
That's the question. Well, that's why I'm putting it. That's why I'm putting it out there. I'm telling you what the process should look like, and those are the answers moving forward, where we are and moving forward.
So the first question I think that people need to be sending via email and tweets and phone calls is to Dr. Larry Robinson and say, Dr. Robinson, did you give approval to AD Sykes to offer this head coaching position to Sean Gibbs? Now, I think the answer will be telling. And I feel like Vaughn and Kelvin, and I don't know, you guys are more familiar with how FAMU operations work, and it is going into Thursday tomorrow. I feel like something has to come from the president's office tomorrow. After what was done today, after what will be publicly pushed out into the media from the National Alumni Association and Booster Club, that the president has to respond. Now, the Board of Trustees has their day coming next week, but I feel like the president has to respond. And he either has to stand by, he's got to stand by his woman, by his choice, or he has to somehow distance this.
I don't know. I didn't know. I mean, he threw plenty of women he done hired under the bus already.
Well,
they got CFOs. We had about 5 of them. We just lost one in July. Nobody know what the hell she did.
Well,
she wasn't here for 6 months.
Well, look, I don't know, but something has to be said, does it not? Does it not?
Absolutely.
I mean, the board.
No, Rattler Nation got to do Rattler Nation. That's why we're doing this show. That's why we're explaining things. Go ahead, bro.
That's what everyone's trying to figure out. Everyone is trying to figure out is the relationship, again, the relationship between the AD and the president. It's got to be a symbiotic relationship. We saw when it wasn't, because Courtney Gaucher left before he got fired, according to all reports that I had heard and most of us had heard, right? So whatever happened, their relationship wasn't good. And if Dr. Robinson, again, skipped the process and put this choice in the pool when they were coming to the finish line, and then all of a sudden it's like a scene where you run the Boston Marathon and you got the final 3 runners, and then all of a sudden somebody pushes a runner out into the race and say, "Oh, there you go, get to the finish line." It's like, well, wait a minute, where did that person come from? Well, hell, we got 3 runners that are already there, and all of a sudden here comes the 4th candidate, and that candidate ends up winning. Everybody's like, what the hell just happened, right? So you got to believe that the relationship between those two, I don't know, they're either good or they're about to be bad. One of the two is about to happen. And then what does that mean? The next
Let me just say this.
Go ahead, please.
Let me just say this, Bryan. First off, before I say anything else, thank you to you guys for putting this podcast up, because this is the only one dedicated. Well, this is the top one dedicated to just FAMU. And sometimes people, like in the chats, they just need somewhere to vent with like-minded people to talk things out. And as I see the interaction with the chat and what you guys do, it's very important that these things are able to be talked out outside of in somebody's head or outside of the normal circumstances, so that people can just absorb, understand, get knowledge, get, like Kelvin's worked at the university, get information from the inside, like how the contracts work and that sort of thing. Let me just say that. As far as the president and the athletic director, their relationship from all accord that I've seen is they're on the same page. Everything I've seen says they're on the same page. So I don't see anything where he has complained about it or reeled anything in. Nothing. It's to me, she has had free reign to do what she's done. There's a lot of debate about that word misogyny. I got a real problem with that being used wrong. Mm-hmm. You can't just turn that on to any situation where somebody's being critical of somebody, because that causes a lot of people to back away, from their pursuit. I didn't agree with an article that was written this week that used that term. There have been some that I felt were across the line. Some small statement, but those were individuals. But as far as organizations like O&G StrikeZone or whoever, I haven't seen any statements. Just because we're being critical doesn't mean we're being misogynist. And there is a fine line there. And actually, when that comes up wrong and it becomes overused, it weakens it. It weakens that term, and it weakens it. It becomes overused, and then it doesn't mean anything. When there are clear situations where it does happen, there have been some posts that have been exactly that. But people being critical of her and her performance is not misogynistic. That is not the definition of that word.
Amen.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that, because I couldn't find the right way to eloquently say it. I was going to be ugly about it, so I just said, let me not say anything at all. and just let people think what they think. That's where I would go with it. But that was well said, the way you said it. And I think again, I go back to if we're talking about the same article, I thought that was a PR thing, because again, another thing that I went back to when I went back and watched that interview, and all of you can go see it, it's right there. Allison Posey, great interview, 1 year ago, almost a year ago. She talked about being social media savvy and loving social media, the good and bad of it. And so for somebody who has enjoyed social media, appears to understand social media, the biggest way that whole situation could have been countered is to essentially do what I heard Scotty say on his show, which was to flip and take a picture at a desk looking at some papers. And imagine how that would have gone over, almost in sort of a shot back at anybody who thinks I'm not working. But again, the statement that was made had to do about it was based on the angst that people were feeling about not having heard anything over a week. So see, if we just really break this down, people, and understand that we heard in that 3-minute and 20-second statement that there was going to be a process to hiring the next coach. And it was going to be quick or swift, or I'm paraphrasing, I don't know the exact word that was used, but that it was going to be a quick search. And then it went silent. And in the silence, what was left was not updates, not information that was shared, but what we heard in the silence was conversations. Oh, she just had a conversation with the head coach of North Carolina Central. We were like, what? Oh, no. He's not going to take the job. He ended up getting a contract extension, got a bump in pay too. Because North Carolina Central was like, oh, really? Y'all coming after our guy? No. We got to make him one of the highest paid coaches. We got to take care of him. We got to take care of our guy. Our guy.
Championship
from our culture, our alum.
That's how you treat. I got to say it again. That's how you treat champions. You shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to tell someone who's been in the athletic administration 15, 20 plus years that when you got, especially when it's your revenue generating sport, football for every athletic department is not only the front porch, but it is your largest event on campus because it has the most attendees, and it's also how all your other sports get paid. So when you're at the top of the mountain and you have championship, I don't care if you like a person or not. You deal with it. I'm pretty sure somebody didn't like Nick Saban. But Alabama got more buildings on that campus because of that football team and more students on that campus because of that football team. I mean, if you're going to be in the athletic business, understand the business.
And that's what's so disappointing about all of this, because look at the resume, look at the conferences and the network, and there are people who speak highly of our AD. So it just, I don't, that's the part that is so doggone frustrating and just unbelievable that somebody with the background, the mentors, the conversations, the different historic places that she has been at would treat us. And I think that's where we get upset. That's where you get the hashtag Piss Rattlers at, because you treating us like we aren't a blue blood program. Ooh, I want to name a school, but I'm not going to name a school. I'm about to throw some schools under the bus. We're supposed to be one of the four. We are one of the four. We're up on the Mount Rushmore of HBCUs.
Yeah.
You don't treat us like an NAIA school from the GCAC. All respect to the GCAC and the NAIA, I'm sorry, but I had to say it like that to really get my point across. That's how we felt, Rattler Nation. So to give people on the outside to understand how we felt, that's how we felt by someone who's supposed to be an experienced athletic administrator. How do you treat us like that? So yes, when I see that vote come in, it is what it is.
Bryan, I was going to say, I was thinking about this today, getting ready for the show, that the approach for some reason, and without any discussion, we can only make suppositions. The approach seemingly was as if we were coming out of that valley in 2017 versus just finishing off a championship. Because someone mentioned it, when Coach Eason was AD or interim AD and he went and got Willie Simmons, that the situations are comparable because we were at the lowest of the low. We had all the administrative and athletic issues, and we had a coach that we did not renew because, by all intents and purposes and by some admissions of folks who are in the know, he didn't want to be here anymore. Coach Simmons wanted to be here. And from just innuendo from past pit discussions, I mean, he had eyes on us since like 2013, 2014, maybe even when Earl Holmes was hired or somewhere in that time frame.
Right.
So it had been a
He
long
applied
time
then.
desire. It was a long
Yep.
time desire. He wanted to be at FAMU, but it seems as though, like, once again, kind of imposing some thoughts on it, you know, my own interpretations that the selection or the handpicked type approach for Coach Simmons' replacement is a type of activity you do for a program that you need to rebuild, not one that's on top.
Yeah.
Listen,
And even
Bryan,
if you wait a little
Bryan,
longer, you never know. You might get some other coach. I don't know, a name you might not expect, just based on the allure of being able to coach FAMU. If if there had been a little bit longer time or wider net cast. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Vaughn.
No, to your point, I just want to expound on what you said. In 40 plus years since he stopped coaching at FAMU, you have never heard Rudy Hubbard say a word, not
That's
a
true.
public word, about the state of FAMU football. For him to come out and make that statement, because he never makes any, speaks volumes. He has never said a word. He came out of the woodworks because he said, this program has been built up. You'd be better to upgrade somebody internal and keep the program rolling. The program is not broken. If it was broken, you bring somebody in from the outside, but this program is not broken. I think he said what we were all saying. Everybody, all of us in our mind, December 16th in the evening was in our mind. The only thing in our mind was run it back. That's all that was in our minds.
So what's next? What's next, guys?
I'm going to encourage people right here, right now. If you did not send, I mean, first off, let me stop for a second and say happy birthday, Dr. Robinson. Hey, happy birthday. Hey, here's a bunch of mess on. Here's
the mess you created.
Here's a dog pile of poo.
Here's your mess.
Yes, happy birthday, Dr. Robinson. But that needs to happen. I don't know if he checks his tweets or not. Something tells me he doesn't. I don't know if his email address still Larry.Robinson@famu.edu. I don't know if it still is. I don't know if you call that 850-599 number that rings to Lee Hall. I don't know if that will ring to his administrative assistant. I don't know, but there's got to be a way to reach out and communicate to Dr. And if not Dr. Robinson, there is a very visible link to the Board of Trustees members. And each and every one of them have their email address. And I would recommend to each and every one of you that's listening, that cares, to put all of their email addresses in the to field and a nice, simple, worded email stating you support the decision by the National Alumni Association and the boosters, and that you would like to see some immediate changes and administrators being held accountable for, you could go as far as saying, the damage that's been done to the FAMU brand, the inability to or the lack of transparency in the process of finding the next coach,
trust,
the trust that has been squandered amongst alumni who have donated money the damage to recruiting, any and all of it. Just pour your heart out. Let it be known.
The current players and coaches. We have let me remind people. We have a championship celebration this Friday on the set. Now, I'm going to tell you right now.
That's going to be fun.
Don't expect to see some coaches and don't expect to see some players. We got to fix this. My suggestion is the same thing that should have happened on the front end. Retract whatever you done verbally offered to this guy. No disrespect to the coach too. Coach Gibbs, whatever Sean Gibbs, whatever his name. No disrespect to him. It's not a reflection of you and your ability to coach. This is about FAMU though. Retract that. Notify your players and your coaches before you notify us that you value what they've done and what they did, and you want to make this right. And how you're going to make it right is that you're going to name an internal coach. Smitty Rock deserves opportunity. Cozy deserves opportunity. Billy Rowe deserves opportunity. Doesn't matter to me. I like all of them. I like Smitty Rock and Billy Rowe a little bit more. They've been around longer. I know, no shade on Cozy, but I'll be fine with that too. But let them coaches and players know they're valued, because people are making decisions. They making decisions now. They just come from a convention, and see if that can be repaired. I don't know if it can be repaired. I'm sure all of it can't be repaired, but repair what you can, and see if we can keep this championship team, the majority of it, and its staff together and have a chance to run it back. Now, the one thing I can't answer this question. I have my opinion on it. I don't know if I'm gonna share it, but the one question, even when you do all that, is what do you do about the AD? Because she's lost our trust, our confidence. She's lost those coaches and players' confidence, and in turn, the other coaches in other sports ain't gonna say it, but they see all this going on too. And I'm sure they feel a certain way about it, and I'm sure they ain't got all their bonus monies too for some of those championship sports. Pay people their money, give them their bonuses, let them know they value, make sure those kids get their rings. Focus on the kids and the coaches right now. Do right by them.
And I want to make it known, obviously there are going to be supporters of hers. And that's fine. No one's calling. Look, there are going to be players that support her because, again, what she's always been is a supporter of the students and making sure they have a good student-athlete experience. Okay, even though, we question and wonder from afar that there are things that we've seen that make you wonder about that. But, I do believe in my heart of heart, she stands on wanting that experience for them and wanting them to have a good experience. I can't mirror some of the actions recently in the past few months with that statement entirely, though. Because at the same point, I could read a statement from a player that'll say, "Oh, you guys don't know how much she's done and how great she is." And the next tweet, you'll say, "Oh, but we got to hire Billy Rowe. We got to keep the staff in place." Yeah, well, two things can't be true in this particular case because the person in charge of it won't hire those people. So again, we can love the person and dislike the decisions. That needs,
and I'll just say this real quick. This job ain't for everybody. I mean, it's a tough job. If you look at our track record, internal, external, female, male, black, white, FAMU and non-FAMU, everybody got chewed up in FAMU athletics. Everybody.
There's dead bodies everywhere. I mean, not to that's a bad pun, but there bones everywhere, all over the field. I mean, how many? Again, we know there's bones all over, sprayed all over the field. But again, and there's going to be people who are going to be very loud.
But at the end of the day, I will say this. I just want to put structure on my finishing statement. Typically, when you have a vote of no confidence by your DSOs and your fan base, that really can't be repaired, to be honest.
Unless you
take it for where you want to. Take it where you want to, but that can't be repaired.
I don't know if it can or can't. I would tend to think
there was a lot of emphasis on those votes tonight. To Kelvin's point, there was a lot of extra emphasis going on those votes of no confidence tonight. To Kevin's point, it wasn't just to Kelvin's point. It was not just affirmative. There were emphatic answers to the vote for the of no confidence. That spoke to Kevin's point right there. That spoke to Kelvin's point. The way that people answered that. If you, I don't know if they're gonna have it where you can hear it back, but being on there,
they were smart.
It was like
that's
yes,
going into archives. People emphatically like yes.
It was, and Kelvin, to your point about the celebration this Friday, we sat there and watched Kevin Winslow stand in front of a crowd at a very unpopular time. I would suggest
how'd that go?
That the university minimize her visibility and mention of her name just to protect an embarrassing situation.
She's done that on her own, Vaughn. She's done that on her own. Where's she been for the last 10 days?
Yeah, but you still got to have some kind of crisis management is what Vaughn getting to. This is the administrators of us coming out now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You don't want to make a bad.
This is us sitting in the athletic department.
Yeah, you don't want to make a bad situation. You know, you can see it coming. You want to plan. Yeah, you want to plan for it, right? Minimize that impact. So Vaughn is absolutely right, man. It would be very smart. It might be even smart to cancel the event right now. Till you've made a decision and everything is final.
In lieu of what's happened in the last 24, hours, I could not agree with you more, Kelvin. I really think it only has the potential to be bad. And if there's been no communication with the kids until then, why would they even go?
Yeah.
Wow, that's disappointing. Somebody within the board of trustees, and you know, every time that I talk to people and I mention Dr. Robinson in this whole thing, I get people saying he's not touchable. He's doing a great. The fact that all of it he's done for the academic side of FAMU, and also we want to be smart about the fact that this is a political season and we don't want to lose somebody in the position that Dr. Robinson is in the midst of the political voting cycle that's going on, knowing that governor that we have in the state of Florida. So it's almost like you almost have to leave Dr. Robinson where he is for now. Those are the things that I keep hearing when I bring up who's holding Dr. Robinson accountable. I don't know if it is not the board of trustees, but the last time this came about, for those who asked, we brought it up. We tried to bring it up to people at the NAA last summer, got shot down, and then they turned around and gave him a raise in the midst of
and that's when the compliance thing hit.
When the compliance
right after that too.
Somehow he got a raise in the midst of the compliance crisis. Amazing. So if I don't know. I guess we gotta wait to see which trustees. There are a few trustees which have been very adamant and vocal. I don't know if they are the minority or the majority. I don't know if they are the ones. Let's just spin it forward and just say, what if? What if everything stays as it is today, and going on to that meeting that she goes and she's able to present this contract and this coach? Are there enough trustees to do what's been done at Texas Southern, which is not be at that meeting so that a vote can't happen? I don't even know if that's possible in the state of Florida or by the bylaws of our board of trustees. But obviously, it was a ploy that the Texas Southern Board of Regents enacted with our board of regents, with our board of trustees. Excuse me. And I don't. Again, I don't know.
I don't want to see that. I want leaders to lead.
I don't. But I don't want to see that either, Kelvin. But
this is a moment of crisis. Leaders gonna lead. What NAA did today, and what our boosters did yesterday in the day, is forcing our leaders to lead. They're gonna have to make a decision. They're gonna and confirm one way or the other what direction we going, what direction we steering. But there's no need of messing around and this. Now's not the time for politics. Now's the time for results.
But the reason that happens, Kelvin, is because it's the contingency backup plan.
Hey, we can't continue to go back talking about what has happened. We got to focus on what has to happen. We got to move forward. That's all I'm saying. And we can't keep just dismissing that people ain't gonna do their jobs. They ain't gonna do their jobs if you don't force them to do their jobs. If you don't hold them accountable.
You know what's really sad?
This vote of confidence is gonna hold you accountable. Go ahead, Vaughn.
You know what? You know what's really sad? I don't know how long y'all been on, but at this juncture in the year that we're on the broadcast this long, not once have we mentioned that, boy, we got Anthony Dunn Jr. and he could break Alonzo Johnson's sack record this coming year because he's coming into his own, and if he's healthy, he could actually break Alonzo Johnson's sack record. That Jaquez Yant has the helm now. He could take over at running back. That boy that we see some flashes from Kareem Burke that we really want to see him get the ball more this year. That's the problem. At this juncture, we're not talking about those things, which should be the important thing right now. And it's sad that we have to talk about what we talked about, but it's sad that we're not talking about the kids and, taking the momentum from the Celebration Bowl into our excitement of the possibilities of 2024. That's the travesty of this whole situation.
Yeah, we got to do it right by the current recruits, the current coaches, and the current staff. Whatever decision is made, and they need to know something tomorrow.
I'm you know me, I'm usually hopeful, but I've been disappointed enough times to know that if Rattler Nation, they've done a great job thus far of making their voice heard, but if they don't continue this all the way through, I just don't know if this will land like it needs to. And I guess tomorrow we'll see. Hopefully somebody, whether it be the athletic office, whether it be the office of the president or the board of trustees, somebody will make a statement. One way or other.
Got to.
We have to. There are too many things that are happening. Again, you've got a championship event happening. You got a basketball weekend doubleheader coming up on King weekend. You know, Community Day. We play Southern on Saturday.
Yes.
A lot of eyes will be in the building. You know, be some uncomfortable glances. You know, just keeping it real. Marcus, you laughed. I was going to drive to Tallahassee this weekend. I think I'm going to stay in Orlando. Just say the MLK weekend and then Gramblings on Monday. I know. I'm going to go sit with Kelvin and the OGs. I'm just going to sit up there and talk ish from up high. That's where I'm going to go sit.
Hey, Bryan. Bryan, up there for what? Bryan, you going to be up there where Kelvin was holding the sign, get rid of Harris?
That was not me. But the person is on the viewing this show though.
Hey, they usually take signs away that are like that. Somebody will point to security and say, "Hey, can you go up there, security, and take that sign away from that guy before that ends up on TV or social media?"
Kelvin got me in a real awkward situation. Nah, Kelvin didn't do it. It was somebody else up there. He blamed it on Kelvin. But you talk about that was the number 2 oddest moment at FAMU. The first one was Alex Wood after that South Carolina State loss, and that's a whole show. That's a whole show. Okay. Kelvin knows the story. It's a whole show. But after that game where they had the Fire Gene Harris signs up there, and on this idea, he walks in that press conference, and he walks in. All the cameras are rolling. He walks in and say, "You got FAMU." This is how he opened the press conference. That we just lost, got our butt beat. This is how he opens press conference. We got our butt beat out there, and you got FAMU employees walking around with signs say "Fire G. Harris." Y'all can buy me out. It's $135,000 to buy me out right now. You can buy me out. I'm sitting there going, what the heck? Meanwhile, Allison and all the media people are like, "Nah, we're not gonna burn y'all with this one, Vaughn. We got you."
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Pack the pit, ladies and gentlemen. It should be a good time in the pit. The 100 hopefully will be in the house. The DJ will be there. There'll be a lot of eyes on looking in different directions on Saturday at the Lawson Center, and hopefully we'll see some good basketball by our men and women's team. Hopefully they can get their first dub of the season, open up the homestand with some wins. Yep, prayers up, and you know, we'll see. The business of FAMU athletics continues. I think that's a powerful statement. And again, you know, we can agree to disagree. Some of you guys may agree with us, some of you may disagree. But I think
we still got to work together.
We still have to work together. And again, we've always said from day one, when we this is all from a place of love. This is because we have all gone to FAMU, given to FAMU we've given a piece of our soul to FAMU and our heart to FAMU in some way, you know, and that's how much we love this university, that we're willing to have uncomfortable conversations, which are good. We have to be willing to have uncomfortable conversations. And sometimes, you know, decisions get made that everyone doesn't agree on. But I think what we have seen is that we are largely, I'm not going to say all, but we are a largely united group in that the FAMU culture, that whole thing, FAMU versus everybody, that's real. That's real. And if you don't appreciate that, then you're in the wrong place at the wrong time in history. That's it. Let's put a bag on this.
Well said.
Vaughn, do you you want to give any final words or let people know you guys got to do it? You guys doing another live show? What else? Who else you got to talk to tomorrow? Is there anybody left?
Listen, this news is making itself. I plan on with Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with our lives on HBCU game day. Friday, I plan to be at. We'll see if it's a celebration. I plan to be there for that. You know, I'll be shell shocked from the Kellen Winslow scenario. I still can't believe what I saw that day and what I heard and how that whole thing happened. But we're gonna try to follow that. And if I was to say one more thing, as my concentration is all on the football players, on the FAMU NAA call, Bishop Bonnet called in.
Mm-hmm.
And his heartfelt story of how he walked on and made his way through, and FAMU was good to him, and he got 2 degrees and got to be on an ESPN, special and that sort of thing. And he said, "Don't mess it up for these kids." And I'm like, dang it, he's right on. He is exactly right on. He had a great experience. Marquise, Isaiah Land, everybody who comes through here has a great experience. And I'm gonna leave with this, Bryan. FAMU had long been the number one HBCU for a long time, the number one public HBCU. At some point, North Carolina A&T overtook us. Those align with when they were winning those championships, when A&T overtook us.
Mm-hmm.
FAMU retook them with the FAMU stability once they changed conferences and started losing, and Coach Simmons came in, FAMU started winning. And FAMU's number one. And now FAMU has reached up to the top 100 of all public universities. The reason that is because the U.S. News and World Report, Princeton Review, all of them use surveys from the students at the school as part of that evaluation. So the positive experiences lead to positive evaluations, which lead to higher rankings. This is when your athletics come in to help your university. Any president that does not understand the value of that is absolutely misguided and doesn't understand what those rankings actually mean.
Well said. Marcus.
We've had such a bang out discussion today. I don't know if there's much more I can add. I just, praying for FAMU, for all the people involved, that we get it resolved in a manner that is beneficial to those most severely impacted. We have families, the coaches' families involved. We have the student athletes involved. And myself, my perspective, I'm invested in FAMU, from having graduated there and, sending money back and everything. But when it comes to the athletics, the people that I consider most affected are the coaches and the players. And I'm a fan, and I'm not taking that lightly, but there are lives at stake, and administrators as well. And I don't want to minimize that. So there are livelihoods at stake. So my first and foremost prayer is for those who are intimately involved and severely impacted by the decisions that are made or not made, that it just, I don't know, not turns out for the best, because everything can't be perfect, but that there's some resolution that will be some benefit going forward for everyone involved.
Kelvin.
Our student athletes go to class, they participate in practices, and then they compete whatever their chosen athletic event is, and represent our university with the expectation that they're going to have a chance to compete and win conference championships. The only way that is possible is that we equip them and support them properly. We've made some investments in terms of facilities in most of our sports. Baseball is one we've got a lot of work to do, and it's a championship program. But to Marcus' point, to what Vaughn said, and to some things I've said earlier, it's about the student athletes for me. As a former administrator, whatever we can do to make their experience the best it can be at FAMU, that's what we do. So I'm not really concerned about how the AD feel about how things going down. I'm not. Because you, at the end of the day, you get paid. You're professional. You accepted the paycheck. You accept what comes with being the AD at this great institution. And it was great before you, and it'd be great after you. Same, FAMU is bigger than anybody. Me, you, all of us. But it's a part of all of us. So I want two things to happen. I want to make sure that, again, we let our student athletes and our coaches and our support staff, all our athletic staff, know that we appreciate them and we support them. And we do it financially. We do it with showing up to their events. And we're doing it now in terms of holding our administration and athletic administration accountable. However uncomfortable it is. You know, in order to enact change, sometimes you got to get into good trouble. We know what that means. Sometimes it has to be uncomfortable. Sometimes it's by any means necessary. But out of that, good can happen. And that is the tunnel vision I hope Rattler Nation come together with. Let's do what is good for our student athletes, our programs, our coaches. And that's a real simple ask. That's the least we can do. I appreciate Rattler Nation. I appreciate y'all guys for sharing this platform. And we got to roll up our sleeves and finish the work. We got work to do.
Again, want to encourage you guys to send your thoughts and comments to Dr. Larry Robinson via his Twitter handle at LRobinsonFAMU, or you can use his email address. Maybe it's larry.robinson@famu.edu if it's still working. You can also contact board chair Kristen Harper. Her email address is on the trustees directory link, along with other members of the board of trustees. You must let them know how you feel. You've voiced your opinion as boosters, as part of the NAA, and now you have to go one step further. Don't stop. If you feel as strongly as we do, you have to make your voice heard to those individuals who make the final decision. And we'll see what happens. But the business of supporting FAMU, which is what we do, sometimes you might think we're a bit measured in what we say. We want to be shine a light in dark places. We give a damn and we support hard. So when you see us send out a tweet supporting and telling you to support our softball program that is doing a fundraiser to raise money for uniforms. Hello. Again, are we a high school program? No, we're a college Division I program. Hello. But we need to raise money for uniforms. Okay, it is what it is. Our baseball team, we just talked to Coach Jamey Shouppe. We appreciate him. They have certain needs. You can donate to their fund on the Rattler Athletic Fund. Track and field, indoor track and field starting up this weekend. We appreciate Coach Garfield, Ellenwood for joining us. They could use your support. All of our programs need your support. And that's what we want to continue to do. So that's why we have them on. And next week, we'll have more coaches on next week, because we have to continue talking about our positive championship winning programs, or programs that we have great coaches all over. You heard Coach Shouppe talk about, we have some great coaches. We really do. You know, we really have great coaches. Absolutely. And they're working hard, and they're working with a little. And so I told you the theme of what 2024, instead of talking about this, we should be talking about money. Our administrators should be out trying to find us money. But anyway, that's the charge we give you guys, you know. And I don't know. I feel, I know some of you, we thought we would be able to do like a call in and just open up the lines and sit. I don't know, guys. I might do something tomorrow. I may just feel. I know Keith does his show at 7, and maybe after Keith does his show, I might just jump on and open up and make the lines available. So be on the lookout. We may just do something and give Rattler Nation a space to vent in a public forum.
Let's see if we can collaborate. You know,
exactly.
We'll talk to you offline.
I'll reach
out.
We'll
talk to you offline, Keith.
I know. I'll talk to Keith offline and see if we do that. And again, thank you for everybody who.
Great job.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody who came in to hear what's going on. And again, don't mistake our passion for fanaticism. Please don't mistake our passion and our love for fanaticism. It's two different things. Okay. So with that said, EA, yes. I give you an executive producing credit on that one. Yes, exactly. I got you, EA. Yes, I may make you a co-host on that. How about that? We'll have to talk. But appreciate everybody, your thoughts. Make sure to hit the thumbs up or the like button wherever you are, and be on the lookout for more content from the Black College Sports Network. Find the BCSN Pod Zone is where you can find podcasts of all of the shows that appear on the Black College Sports Network. Make sure to check Vaughn out, HBCU Game Day. Some great articles, man. Go get back on your history. You know, Vaughn brought up some great things, which I have been telling people. I've been thinking about the Tennessee coaching search of 2017, and then Vaughn dropped the op-ed about 2003. Go read the article, people, please. Go. Our history, our culture, FAMULY matters. That's all for tonight, everybody. Fangs up. Peace out. FAMU first, FAMU forever. We're out of here. Peace out.
Wow.